Something has stopped us now. I'll tell you how. We're gonna live on through it. Let's stay inside and spend our time taking things in stride. Good times aren't held at bay. Just stay away from the population and wash your hands to kill off those bacterial strands. Now we're trying to keep a little distance. It's for sure our best resistance to making things a whole lot worse. Come on, kids, let's all go down to the sink. Wash those grubby little hands of yours. 20 seconds. You never know, it might just save a life. Something has stopped us now, but don't you fret, it'll for sure get better. We'll soon be hand in hand, going down to Disneyland. Oh, won't that be so grand, though something has stopped us now. Ah-cha-cha.
Good morning, happy Saturday, and welcome to the show with one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel. You are here locked in with Eric Morton, WDWNT Live, as we continue to provide as much content as we can during this lockdown situation until the parks open. So here we are. It's a beautiful Saturday. I can't go outside. Those of you that live up north, I understand that there is a snowstorm, or there has been snow, so sorry about that, guys. Here in Orlando, Florida, things are looking pretty good. And it doesn't matter, I guess, because there's not a whole lot we can do. Although, breaking news, barbershops and nail salons open on Monday in Orange County, in Florida, I think, in all of Florida. So, yeah, it's been a really long time. We're kind of working on what Lee calls a mullet. Just, you know, the hair's getting a little long in the back. My Canadian passport is in full growth mode. Sorry, Chris. Didn't mean to make a Canada joke. Yeah. And as far as the nails go, yeah, I have trouble cutting my own toenails, so it's a challenge. And sometimes you gotta get by with a little help from your friends, no matter how disgusted they are by toenails. So let's introduce our panel. I'm excited today to introduce everybody. Today we have Miss Allison, as we know her, Allie. Thank you, Allison. It's been a few weeks, but I'm glad to have you back. Looks like we've changed the layout a little bit. The pictures are not over there on the floor.
No, they're on the couch now.
Oh, they're on the couch now. From the Great White North, everybody, America's favorite DJ and Canada's favorite DJ as well, I guess. Maybe the North America's favorite DJ, Cosmic Reed. Chris Reed is in the house.
Pressure's on.
Thank you, Chris. How's the weather up there? Is it snowing there in Canada?
There is no snow here. It's to the east of us, way to the east. It's cold here, but there's no snow, and I'll take that. Yeah.
You're in Toronto, is that right?
No, Winnipeg.
Oh, Winnipeg. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Tyler's in Toronto.
Wrong. Yeah, Tyler's in Toronto. I don't know, you Canadians. You all get your milk in a bag, so it's all the same thing, right? I don't know if you get milk in a bag in Winnipeg, actually. Do you?
I can't remember if it was the situation that's going on right now.
Yeah,
but I know my grandma used to, or she's just making it sound like she's that old.
I went to Canada once and they had milk in a bag, so that's the way I remember. Introducing a new guest, we have my baby sister Hillary Morton from her loft in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. Hillary, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be here.
So we have a lot of stuff going on for you guys today. We will check in on Butters a little bit later. I know everybody's dying to know how she's doing and holding up. Let me tell you, spoiler alert, she has gotten a lot more difficult to deal with since the lockdown. Now she's just used to people being here. So if I even put on my shoes, she just goes crazy and doesn't stop. She doesn't want anyone to leave. It's going to be real tough when we come out of this. So we'll check in on Butters later. We're going to do the weekly recap. We're going to go through the things that are coming up this week on WDWNT. We are then going to, have a discussion about music in the parks, specifically choral music. Hillary is a high school choir director, and she is an expert on these matters. So we always go to the hard-hitting experts here, as you know, on Locked In with Eric Morton. Found the best one I knew. After that, we're gonna talk about that. We'll go to a break. When we come back, we'll have Pete Carney and Eric Wolf will be joining us. I know everybody likes seeing Pete and Eric. We're going to talk a little bit about the Disney look, kind of what it was, what it is. If you're a Wigs member, you probably got something this week in the mail about a PDF with the old Disney look kind of pamphlet, which is kind of funny to look at. We're going to talk about the worst resort to be locked into during a lockdown. And then, of course, we are going to end the show. The last hour, we will do possibly our most difficult and painful Disney death match segment of all time. So stay tuned. We have a lot of stuff. I'm going to go right into the weekly recap. Saturday, after my show, we had Universal Orlando News Tonight. This is a new segment we're doing because there are a lot of Universal fans out there, or people who are at least Harry Potter fans. So that show, real interesting if you're into Universal. We're kind of branching out a little bit, trying to provide a little bit more news about these parks for you guys out there. And that segment's also going to be coming back, Alicia said, I believe on Tuesday. So if you're into the Universal thing and you want to learn more about it, check out, this is just a new show we've started, and we'd love for you guys to check it out, Universal Orlando News Tonight. Last Sunday, we had Give My Regards to Broadway, and they went and watched some Broadway tunes, Broadway stuff, talked about Broadway stuff. If you're into Broadway, go check it out. It's still on our YouTube channel, WDWNT. And then Sunday, yeah, was it? Were you on that one, Allison?
I was, yes.
All right, what did we discuss? We just mostly talked about Disney Broadway shows, right? We weren't talking about like Book of Mormon and all the fun stuff. We were all Disney stuff, right?
It was almost entirely Disney stuff. We talked a little bit about some of our favorite shows that are non-Disney as well, but we mostly talked about the ones that were Disney. But yeah, it was fun. The people in the chat were enjoying it too. It was a good one.
That's great. Hillary, I know, as a choir director, also was involved in putting on usually a Broadway show for her high school every year or so. Did we have any Disney ones coming up? What do you have? Yeah. I know you got interrupted by this COVID thing, but you had some stuff on the slate, didn't you?
Yeah, so we are planning, if we have a musical and if we have school next year, we're actually going to do The Little Mermaid, the musical. So
nice.
I was just thinking about that this morning, and how old, what's the lady's name who did the voice of Ursula?
Pat
something.
How Pat Carroll is like 94 years old. I'm like, I swear she was 94 when that movie came out 30 years ago. So yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to do The Little Mermaid.
Is it appropriate for us to tell your hold on, I want to segue into this a little bit. So I went down, I think we talked about it last week. I went down a rabbit hole a couple of weeks ago on Disney Plus, where I was watching some things, and then I watched WALL-E, and in WALL-E they sing that song, Put On Your Sunday Clothes from Hello Dolly. And so then I went on Amazon Prime and I found Hello Dolly and watched that because I actually had not seen it before, and on and on. And then the next show we watched was Avengers Endgame, which has Josh Brolin, who is Barbra Streisand's stepson. So we had this sort of rabbit hole type of thing. But Hillary has an interesting Hello Dolly story, and I don't know if you want to tell it or not, Hillary. It's pretty funny though.
I love the story. I think that it was maybe about 1998, 1999. They were doing a revival on Broadway of Hello Dolly, and they brought back Carol Channing, who at that time,
was 94 years old.
Yeah, probably 90. She died this last year, but she was incredibly old, and I have a friend of a friend who was an understudy in that production of Barnaby. And one night, the original Barnaby got sick, and he went on as Barnaby, and he killed. Like, he was a better dancer than the original Barnaby. And if you guys know the show at all, Barnaby and Cornelius have a big moment in the show. So he is getting more applause, more attention than ever before.
Hamming it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Comes to the curtain call. He gets way more applause than Barnaby typically gets. He's killing it. He finds out that Barnaby will not return for the show the next day. So he goes to work, spring in his step, and runs into his stage manager on his way down to the dressing room, and the stage manager says, Miss Channing would like to talk to you in her dressing room. And he's like, oh my gosh. Because there's no way when big stars are in shows, you don't have any interaction with them. So he goes to her dressing room. Miss Channing, I hear you'd like to talk to me. And she goes, what's the name of the show?
Carol Channing. What's the name
And he
of the show?
says, what? What's the name of the show? Is it Hello Barnaby? Is it Hello Cornelius? What's the name of the show? And he said, Hello Dolly. Say it again. Hello Dolly. Say it again. And she fired him.
God,
Serious?
emasculated, silver-backed by Carol Channing, and then fired. I love this story. It's my favorite Broadway story.
How she couldn't see. So all of her blocking was somebody like holding her arm and taking her to her spot. And she smelled terrible because she was wearing adult diapers. Anyway.
Oh my.
So that's a good story. And I've told hundreds of people this story. And when she finally passed away at the age of 182, I think, I just got calls and texts all day. I'm thinking about you today. Carol Channing died. I'm so sorry to hear that.
That's awesome.
We had planned on having
story.
We had planned on having Hillary on for like a short segment today, but then Eric Wolf had to kind of push back his appearance until the last minute, and she's filling in. And I think, she could probably have her own show. That's a great story. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, Sunday night is Pressing Issues. Pressing Issues is our new deep dive news show where they take important issues related to Disney parks. So important is a relative term, I suppose, but they take these important issues and do a deep dive, and very intelligent people have very intelligent conversations that I can't understand about these issues. And it's become very popular. It's got a great time slot. It's very popular. Get a lot of viewers, getting a lot of positive feedback. Check it out. Monday, we had May the 4th be with you. That was obviously Star Wars related, as Monday was May the 4th. Then we had Cosmic Reed, Chris Reed, spinning tunes on WDWN Tunes, and here on YouTube, right? I still don't know how you do both of them.
Yeah, it's a trick. It's a trick for sure. But we were playing a lot of like Oga Cantina music and stuff like that, and there was lots of requests for specific tracks from Oga's Cantina, which was pretty funny. So it was good. It was fun. We just talked all things Star Wars. Yeah, it was good. It's a good night.
You're a regular, Hillary, just so you know, basically 24 hours a day. If you go to WDWN Tunes, Chris has park music playing, Disney related music and a lot of parks atmosphere music and things like that 24/7. It's great. It's great background music while you're working or cooking dinner or drinking. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah. And, it takes you back to the parks. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's great stuff.
Cool.
We had on Tuesday, Revenge of the 5th. So that was more Star Wars stuff. And we had an episode of Cooking with Nick where Nick taught you how to make Ronto wraps, which is the new food catching the galaxy by storm, available at Galaxy's Edge when they open back up. So if you want to learn how to cook a Ronto wrap, and I kind of do, then go check that out. There was also a Disney Plus review, Phineas and Ferb's Star Wars episode. I think Phineas and Ferb are funny. I like Star Wars. I should check that out. I missed it. This week was a whirlwind. Also on Tuesday, we released a new podcast, a new episode of Dream Finders, featuring our own Nathan Hartman, and he interviewed Adam. I hope I pronounced this right. Adam Kreidinger. Anyway, he interviewed a guy named Adam who makes puppets and things. Has made a lot of puppets for Disney. Very interesting guy. Check that out. Wednesday, we had the Tokyo Disney Watch Along, which was I guess watching stuff from Tokyo Disneyland. Very popular with our viewers. We have a lot of Tokyo content. We don't have as much for Europe, I don't think, or Shanghai or Hong Kong, but people love Tokyo. If you get a chance to do an international Disney destination, everything I heard is make it Tokyo, because they have the best, Tokyo Disney Sea in particular, but they have the best Disney park experience in the world, apparently. One day, maybe I'll get to go. Then Wednesday night, one of our big shows is Park Center. Kind of the big three right now are WDW News Tonight, Park Center, and as we talked about, pressing issues. So anyway, Park Center celebrated their 100th show, which is quite an accomplishment. If you guys know what it takes to throw together a show like this, it's not easy. So I want to go ahead, Kevin, if we can show, we have a little tribute video that viewers and fans and friends and staff members put together to congratulate the Park Center staff on their 100th show. Can we show that, Kevin?
Hey Ben, it's Matthew Soberman. I just wanted to congratulate Park Center on 100 episodes. To mark the occasion, I decided to bring out an old favorite. If you remember my rant about the 2018 Epcot International Festival of the Holidays, I made some latkes. So, for all of you, cheers to 100 episodes.
Hey, Ben and all the Park Center crew. I just wanted to take a quick minute and congratulate all of you on 100 episodes. I can't believe it started 100 episodes ago in the Around the Hub Slack channel. It's pretty amazing what you've all done. It's a terrific show, and I'm so proud and happy for all of you. Hub.
Hey, everyone. Hello. Greetings from the Sunshine State. Siva, go! And to call to you from me, Moogle, happy 100 episodes, Park Center.
Clay Kitty and I want to wish you guys a happy 100th episode. He's so happy he's purring.
Hello, Park Center, and wow, 100 episodes. Congratulations, and especially to Ben for doing all he does and hosts the show and put it all together, and especially to Ben. Congratulations, but the whole team. I loved being on the show when I was on it, and I enjoy watching it now. So, how about another 100, huh?
Hey, it's Wigs member Courtney. I just wanted to say happy 100th episode to everybody involved in Park Center. We look forward to the show every Wednesday. It's such a good show. Not only is it the most diverse in opinion, but it's also the most on time, so wear that badge proudly. Again, we love you guys. Thank you for everything you do, and happy 100th. Woo!
Hi, this is Chris from Massachusetts, and I just want to wish Ben and all of the panelists congratulations on 100 episodes of Park Center. I've enjoyed watching the first 99 episodes, and I can't wait to see what's in store for the next 100 episodes. So thank you for all of the content that you provide on Wednesday nights, and keep up the great work. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, thank you so much for all that you do. You're an amazing group of people. Happy 100th episode from Arizona, Tracy and Amina. Thank you.
Hey, Ben and everybody on Park Center, I wanted to congratulate you, obviously on behalf of the entire website, on 100 episodes. You've outlasted some incredible shows like WDWNT at the movies and Who's Q, and also joking. No, it's a Herculean effort to run a show, and especially do it for nearly 100 weeks consecutively. So Ben, congratulations on keeping up with it, and congratulations to everyone on the panel for helping to make it happen every single week. Here's to 100 more, and here's to disagreeing with me on everything and calling me the devil.
Anyway,
I want to know why you called him the devil. I want to know what that disagreement was about.
Hillary doesn't know who Tom is. So Tom is our leader of WDWNT. He's a very well-known figure in the Disney fan community. People feel very strongly about Tom one way or another. And one of the universal, whether, Tom has defenders, Tom has detractors. One thing that's universal is everyone thinks he's the devil. So I guess that's one way of putting it. But congratulations to Park Center. That is quite an accomplishment. 100 episodes. That is tip of the cap to you guys, Ben and team. That is fantastic. And, it caused me to reflect a little bit on this show. Locked In, with Eric Morton. Our first episode, this is our 7th episode. Seven as Locked In with Eric Morton. But we actually did one episode before we had the title of Locked In, and we kind of did it in the studio. That's when we performed. If you guys remember, we performed a live version of the Carousel of Progress, the janky version. Great. And great in quotation marks. But it's really been a great ride on this show. It's really amazing to look back and reflect. Heck, it seems like only a few days ago, or maybe a week ago, we were only on episode like 6. So 6 or 7. I look back and the time flies, and I have such fond memories going all the way back. We actually had some viewers. We have a montage of viewers who have called to or sent in videos to congratulate us on this show. Kevin, do you have that?
Eric, congratulations on your 8th show. I never thought you'd make it this far. As a matter of fact, I lost a bet with your brother on the over-under. But if you make us feel better, Kay figures after 10 shows, you'll be an international star. Congratulations.
Eric, it's your mom. I just want to tell you how proud I am of you. I was always afraid you were going to be locked up, but now you're just locked in. Congratulations.
Hey, this is Mike. I really want to congratulate Eric on his huge milestone of his 8th show? Oh. I get paid for this, Eric?
Hey, Eric, checking in from Tampa, Florida. Wanted to congratulate you on your big milestone for Locked In. This is show number... what number is it? Wait a minute, you serious? Show number 8? Seriously, dude? Call me later.
Hi, Eric. It's your sister Hillary reporting from Kansas City, Missouri, and I just wanted to congratulate you on your 8th show. Wow, I can't believe it's been 8 shows already. Well, 8 is an important number. In Chinese, to pronounce the word 8, it almost sounds like the word prosper. If you turn the number 8 on its side, it's like the infinity symbol, and that's how long I'm gonna love you. Congrats on 8 episodes.
Hey, congratulations, Eric, on your work anniversary date with WDWNT. What?
Anniversary?
Yeah.
It's like his 8th show.
Oh. Well, congrats anyway, I guess.
Wow. When you first were getting this show, I was a little apprehensive, didn't know how you would do, but 8 later, and you are totally, totally killing it. Everyone adores you. You're doing a phenomenal job. Congrats on your 8th show, Butters.
Hi, my name is Brett. I live in New Jersey, and I just wanted to say, okay. Hi, congratulations, Eric Morton, on your show that has gone on for a whole 8 weeks. 8 weeks? Weeks? Is that right? My haircut is older than 8 weeks. Okay, well, yeah, great. Congratulations.
Hey there, Eric. It's Earl from the Trapped on Vacation podcast. As someone who's been making mediocre theme park content since 2005, let me be the first one, or 5th one, whatever order you're playing me in this thing, to congratulate you on your 8th episode. That is 2 straight months of waking up on a Saturday morning and day drinking. Congrats, man. Keep it up.
Hey, thanks for being such a great test crew. Come back and ride anytime. Bye now.
Hey, Erky, it's me, Andy, your brother in Kansas. Congratulations on getting to your 8th show. I don't know who you had to sleep with to get your own show, but aim higher. Later, dude.
I have no idea what show you're talking about. How did you get into my house?
Oh. Bravo.
I want to thank everyone. That was really sweet. It's touching. Thank you, guys.
I needed that this morning.
I don't know how I'm supposed to hold it together after that. Yeah. As you could tell, Tyler Mann did not edit that video. That was me. It's like a little too long. Some of the segments are a little too choppy. And I don't know what happened to that video my mom sent me that looked like Max Headroom, where she was like,
I didn't know
moving like a... Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with that video, but you know, it's my mom and technology, so it was not like I was going to call her and say, "Can you do a retake on that, Mom?" Anyway, just more of the high production value that you, my audience, have all grown accustomed to expect. Moving on. On Thursday, we had Party with Pete. Pete is known for scoring guests that are he's punching way above his weight. Like Pete has had Yeehaw Bob. Pete had the guy from Tiger King on his show. Pete has had Piano Rob from Jelly Rolls a couple times. Pete got rejected by Kat Cressida once and almost had her on the show. She's the voice of the bride, Hillary, I think. I think she does something else.
Yeah.
Anyway. This week, Pete had Chef Art Smith, who has his own restaurant, Homecoming, at Disney Springs, also known for, he was Oprah's personal chef. He friends with the Obamas, and he sat down and he did Kevin, how long was that segment? When I showed up, you said there was 39 minutes left in a segment. So it was like 45 minutes or an hour, maybe. It
was about an hour. Yeah.
Nice.
He gave a great recipe for fried chicken that I'm anxious to try out. All I know so far from the chef is use a smaller chicken. It's easier to get consistent results.
Well, Eric, we'll try to get you better guests. Like, how about Wingman? Let's see if Wingman is available.
Wingman. We did have an Epcot cast member one time and looked at her name tag and it was Wingman. I thought that was pretty funny.
In China.
Yeah, it was in China. She was a China cast member. Thursday, we had Walt Disney World News Tonight, our flagship program. Let's start with the incorrect fact of the week. I've seen in the chat, people want to know. By the way, if you're watching, we are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, MySpace, Friendster, ICQ, AOL,
Napster.
I don't know what, but anyway, but we actually primarily monitor the live chat in YouTube. So if you want to chat with us and interact with us live on YouTube, but I've seen in the comments people talking about the incorrect fact of the week. Let's go to this week's incorrect fact of the week from Walt Disney World News Tonight.
Best one.
We only got 2 hours to finish these cakes, and Disney does everything on time. Disney does everything on time. Disney does everything on time.
Oh, so good.
I love that segment. Walt Disney World News Tonight, the show, in my opinion, we talk about this a lot. It gets better and better. It's getting better and better. I think part of that is just having kind of full-time graphics support, and people aren't doing it in their spare time. We have that, and people have a lot of spare time. We're coming up with a lot of great ideas. The Great Movie Ride episode was fantastic, and this episode last week was really fantastic. The panel discussion that I was a part of, we might be able to replicate if you guys want to. If you want to try it with me, we had a panel discussion this week, and we called it the Murtaugh List. Hillary, I'm kind of ambushing you with this because you don't watch my show or any show that I'm on or know anything about this. Probably, but yeah. Yeah, finally you're watching the show and you're on it. Yeah. The Murtaugh List is basically things you're too old for at Disney. So it's from Lethal Weapon, where Danny Glover would say, Riggs, I'm getting too old for this stuff, you know, and people interpreted this different ways. So like Jessica Figueroa was saying, there's all these things that she wants to do, but she's too old, like go on this playground or do things that are for kids. I kind of went with things that are for adults, but I'm getting too old for them. So an example would be, I'm getting too old for Mission Space. I don't like the kind of confined space. I didn't used to be claustrophobic. I've been in a Marine Corps helicopter, or actually a British Royal Marine helicopter dunker, where you get in a tiny helicopter fuselage and they turn off all the lights. It's pitch black and they drop you in water and spin you upside down. You got to get out of. No problem. Mission Space all of a sudden has become, I'm not fully claustrophobic in there, but I was a little uncomfortable last time when it took them like several minutes longer than normal to actually get the ride started, and we're stuck in there. And anyway, that's just an example because I'm getting old. I had a couple others, but we can kind of go around. I kind of ambushed the panel. I didn't give everyone time to prep for this, but I think it'd be fun to talk about. Are there things that you feel that you're getting too old for, Allison?
Yeah, so I think there's two things. So in the direction I feel similar to Jessica, where I love the little playground areas. They're so cute. I wish I could go inside like the little houses and go down the little slides and stuff like that every once in a while, because like I'm a petite like young lady, like I can kind of sort of get away with some of that stuff, but like not exactly. I feel like I can get away with doing the wilderness explorers. I think it was Nick and Nathan that had mentioned they feel a little uncomfortable doing that. I don't care. I'll go up to anybody. I'll do like the little caw thing.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I'm starting to get a little old for is unfortunately Tower of Terror. Gives me back problems because it's like the motion is just on your back. It's just boom, 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 and it's just not good for my spine. So I have to make sure I like stretch in the morning and kind of prepare myself for Tower of Terror, because otherwise it's gonna give me back issues, unfortunately.
I want to go there sometime and see you doing like calisthenics and like yoga outside the Tower of Terror. Like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing child's pose. This really helps me prepare for Tower of Terror. Yeah, and in line is kind of like doing Bikram yoga, where you're hot and sweaty. You can do it right there.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Like I'm not even. I'm not exaggerating. Like before I go on it, I'm doing like some of these. I'm like doing some of these.
Yeah, why not? Chris, do you have any that you can think of off the top of your head? I'm sorry to put you on the spot. If you don't have anything, I understand.
Did he freeze?
Yeah. Oh, is Chris frozen? No, I see him. I hear him. You're frozen, Chris. But
the thing that used to be. Oh, am I gone?
Chris, let me go to Hillary first, and that might give you time to unfreeze and get your connection better. Okay.
What? I'm kind of one of those people that's always, one of my lines is always, I'm grown. But I think I only go on Rock and Roller Coaster every few years now, because it can really scramble my eggs a little bit, and I have to plan that accordingly. And I've always had like kind of vertigo issues. There's no way I'm watching a 360 movie. I'm not doing that. But also,
that's okay. They're pretty bad. Canada far and wide. You're not missing anything. It's new.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen, which one was it in China? China was all the way around.
Yeah.
I think that waiting in line to meet characters, even though I really want to, I just feel like I'm 40 and I'm by myself, and I feel like that creeper.
You're not 40 yet. You're not 40 yet.
I am. What? I turned 40 this year. Yeah. Anyway,
wow.
But also because there's so many kids wait in line, and if they mess with me, I will cut a kid because I want to meet Maleficent.
I will cut you.
I will cut you. So, but I still love to see the characters, but I think I can't. I just don't think I can spend that time that close to the children's, But I did see last time we were there, I saw Bo and Woody, and I think I was crying. They just walked by me, and I said, no. And she waved at me, and that was it. I could have gone home after that.
You can still shout, Woody, you got a snake in your boot, and he'll lose it. He'll freak out for a second.
But will they still do the thing where you yell like Andy's coming and they drop, or do they not do that anymore?
No. But they'll do the snake in your boot. Pro tip.
Okay.
And I don't want to recreate the whole segment because we already did this on News Tonight. But Chris, go ahead. It looks like your internet connection is better, and then we can move on.
Yeah. So the thing that I wanted to do, and I did when I was really young, but then as I got older, I still wanted to go in it, but I just felt weird, was the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie set adventure. I love that movie, and I love being in with all those props and stuff and the slides. But then when it comes to something as like an adult that is getting to me now, it's actually Everest. And when they pull you back, like when you're going backwards and in the dark, I get all turned around in that, and my chest feels funny, and I don't know how much longer
I said that on the show.
To do that.
That was one of mine.
Did you?
On the show.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that came to mind though was Mission Space. Same thing. That's the one that's just too much. I can do the non-spinning one, but it's not as fun.
Yeah. And then my last one that I said. My last one that I said was Food and Wine Festival. I just feel like it used to be awesome, and now it's kind of jumped the shark, and especially on weekends. It's too crowded, too many people that are just there to get blasted. Look, I like to drink, I'm not going to lie, but when in large packs of people all go there with the goal of just getting drunk together, it changes the park. So anyway, that was a segment, Walt Disney World News Tonight. They actually made a standalone video of that today, so you can go back and watch that if you like. I think they made a standalone video that you can see now of the incorrect Disney fact of the week as well, which is great. Save that one. And they made a couple other standalones. So check those out. We Walt Disney World News Tonight, like I said, our flagship program. We also had Colleen's Craft Corner yesterday. They made Mother's Day cards. So if you're under the gun and you haven't done anything for your mom yet, go to YouTube, find Colleen's Craft Corner, and find out how to make a Mother's Day card for your mom. I assume it's an elevated card, and it's not like the type of card I would make. And then last night there was a Muppet Watch Party. So that was the week, basically. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, we'll circle back later. I want to remind you guys, by the way, if you like our video, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Toss us super chat donations. Thumbs up, though, it's really good. I got 4 thumbs down last week. It really bummed me out because I'm a narcissist. I was like, oh, man. But we got a lot of thumbs up, too. It's not a total disaster. Hillary, I want to just, people don't know you. It's your first time on the show. You're kind of filling in for someone who couldn't be here, and I was going to have you as a segment guest. But tell people a little bit. I want to talk about your Disney experience because you've been going. I mean, you went to Disneyland when you were very young. I know, like when you got to go just you and Dad one time, and then we've been going to the parks ever since Florida. Since I moved to Florida, we've been going to the parks. You've probably been almost every year, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think last year when I went with you and Lee, I hadn't been in a couple years, but that was like my only gap. But I would say probably straight since I was 7 or 8. I remember being at Disneyland with Dad, and he pointed out when we were waiting, or we were on some ride where there's a map of the country, and he pointed to Florida and said, "I'm going to move there." That's when he told me, was when we were at Disneyland.
Oh,
and,
wow.
So I go there. I try to go at least once a year, and sometimes I'm able to get there a couple times a year, but it's just harder anymore. But I'm really anxious for it to open up because I'd like to go again. The last time we went was 4th of July, and there were a couple other people there on the 4th of July.
It was hot. I mean, hot. And we were in line for Tower of Terror. We had plenty of time to do all the stretching that Allison would have wanted to do. It was a very long wait because I think only one of the elevators was operating, and they didn't even have the Mister fans working in the queue or whatever. It was 4th of July, and most of that queue was out. There were parts of that outdoor queue that I've never seen, and we were roasting. My shirt was soaking wet by the time. I mean, that was the first thing we did during the day. We also got evacuated. We got evacuated from Toy Story Mania. Like, it was just a really monumental day. And then we went to Epcot and did our thing where you just get totally swarmed because there's people everywhere. Also, on that trip, this is an interesting story because it goes back to something that everyone hates about Disney. We got ready to watch the 4th of July fireworks, which is like kind of a tale on Illuminations, but went back when we had Illuminations. And we're kind of by Italy, out in front of Italy, like where World Showcase across from Italy. And there's a nice spot. They have a picnic table there, and there's some people sitting there. We're kind of standing behind there to watch. You know, who cares? The show takes place in the sky. You don't have to be right there in the railing. As soon as the show starts, a young woman stands up on the picnic table, holds her iPad high in the air, and records the whole show.
No.
And I'm not going to get this. We don't do explicit content on this show or whatever. But if you want to set someone like that straight when you're in a park, the person you want with you is my sister Hillary. So that way, Hillary's the one. Hillary's the one that was like, you know what? I'll say something. I don't know if it's sunk in, but I bet that lady's video when she got home wasn't as good as she thought it was going to be when she turned around and panned to the crowd and got a few gestures from my baby sister. So.
I just have a low tolerance for BS, and I always have. But I just think, like, as long as you're not messing with other people, fine. But oh man, I think there was like a segment of it that was over, and we're all clapping, and I just go, put the iPad down.
Put the iPad down. I know you got the one with Retina display, but it's not as good as reality.
I didn't touch or anything. I just forced whatever.
Anyway, bring Hillary. I'm just telling you guys, call Hillary, email me, Eric M at WDWNT.com. If you want, Hillary can be made available to accompany your family on your trip to make sure that nobody ruins their experience.
I like Hillary, it. Hired nothing. Yes.
We just by way of introducing people, we kind of go through what our favorite attractions are usually, or something like that. Yeah. We'll go through a few of your Disney favorites. I want to just see where we stand.
I think number one for me is Impression de France. I love that movie. I love France. I love a Grand Marnier slush. I don't know why you can't take it into the theater because we're in France, but I love that movie. I love the soundtrack. That's number one. I think another one that I like that not a lot of people like is Living with the Land. I like it. The more I drink around the world, the more I enjoy living with the land. But I enjoy growing things. I never miss Living with the Land or Impressions de France. I am old school and I love the Carousel of Progress. I don't know why. I absolutely love it, and they better not.
You should go back and check out our first show. You should go back and check out our first show from.
Okay. Oh no, you read some of that too. So, Haunted Mansion, of course, it's another just staple, and I just don't go there without visiting that. The Maelstrom, I love. I don't know why. I think because of Disney, I became obsessed with Norway, and I love the Maelstrom, and I like the people that work there, and I like the movie a lot. I don't ever miss that. Gene Kelly, I'm obsessed with Gene Kelly. His segment on the Great Movie Room is always great to watch, and it puts me in that spirit of like old Hollywood. And while I'm at the studios, I like to see lights, motor, action. Just to give you that thrill and that the heat and the smell of gas and the sound, and that's Magic Kingdom though. The one that really gets me, Alien Encounter. Oh man,
Alien Encounter.
That is really, really scary. Like you feel it and your legs and your feet. Oh, it's so good. Cool. If you go to Animal Kingdom. When you're on Everest and the Yeti actually like lunges at you, and just kind of a break from lines and stuff. If you at Epcot, you can go taste all the Cokes from around the world. Some of them are really, really gross. The Beverly is disgusting, but sometimes that's just a fun break. So, I don't know. Again, with the old school thing, man, what's better than Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, you guys? It's just
breaking my heart.
There's no line there. There's no movie. The kids aren't watching it, so that's good.
Well, Hillary, I have some bad news for you. Let's start with, I'm just going to say it like an American. Let's start with Impressions de France. They only show it now. Well, if the park ever opens back up, they only show it like starting at 7:30 p.m. Basically, there's like 3 showings of it now because they've added the Beauty and the Beast sing along, and it's terrible with a capital arable. So you're gonna be disappointed. Obviously, a lot of the other things you like are gone. Epcot's been gutted. As our we have a Sorry commercial you might like for Sorry Epcot edition that maybe Kevin could put in when we go to break in a minute. My favorite part of that commercial is the kid rolls the dice and you hear him say, "Oh, sorry, imagination is back. Journey into Imagination is back, but Dreamfinder is dead. Sorry."
Oh.
That's the new mantra with Epcot. So yeah, Hillary, it maybe it's been a while. Maybe we should go check out the parks when you come down sometime. But I'm sorry about all these iconic attractions that are no longer.
The Grand Marnier slush?
You can still get the Grand Marnier slush. So
double shot.
That probably erases the rest of them. If you get enough of those in her, Hillary will. I don't remember if we had a bet or how this worked, but Hillary's the type that I walked past the face painting station. I was like, "Oh yeah, you don't have the guts to let me pick to get face painted to let me pick it." She's like, "Heck yeah, I will." So Hillary, if you want to see a 40-year-old painted up like Simba, we'll try to do that next time. Hillary's the one. Paint her up like Simba. I like that one.
We did it though. It was Maleficent. I did Maleficent. I couldn't get you to be a panda bear with a leaf sticking out of it.
No, and now I have a beard, so it's even harder.
Or the bad guy from the Phantom Menace.
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul?
Or Darth Maul.
Yeah,
that's a good face painting for the day at Disney World.
So, just to be kind of serious for a second, to prove that Hillary can be serious too, the reason she's on here is because, like I said, she is a choir director. Now, Hillary was a choir director at a 6A high school, a very large high school in Kansas for like 15 years, recently transferred to another very large high school that has a choral program that's maybe not quite as esteemed, that she's rebuilding from the ground up. She moved and wanted a change in her life and is doing that. So now in her first year,
I'm singing in 2 professional choirs. I sing in professional choirs also.
And she has also been like a co-director of the Kansas City Gay Men's Choir, right? She's friends with a lot of, she could probably name drop. She's associated with a lot of famous singers, famous composers like Eric Whitacre, all these type of people. She could probably name drop all day. She has former students that like performed as the keyboardist for Justin Bieber. I don't know what else, Hillary, but her friend is a Nashville songwriter that won a Grammy. Did she win a Grammy? I don't know. Yeah, she won a Grammy. She got her friend. She went to her friend's wedding. Oh, by the way, she won a Grammy. But anyway, we're not here to brag about how connected Hillary is and to name drop. You shouldn't name drop. Bobby De Niro told me that one time when we were drinking beer. Anyway, just kidding. But there were guidelines released this week. They had and Hillary can explain this better. There was a virtual conference for all the people associated with choral, all these organizations that are associated with singers and choral performance and choral music. And these guidelines are probably going to have an impact on our experiences in the parks because of the guidelines they came out with. There's going to be probably some limited singing. So do you want to go through that post that you shared with me, Hillary?
Yeah, there was a webinar and it was hosted by ACDA, which is American Choral Directors of America, and
American Choral Directors of America.
The American Choral Directors Association. NATS is like something about like art teachers. I don't remember what NATS is. It's singing stuff. Chorus America and Barbershop, and they had science behind it, and they pretty much released guidelines that were terrifying. I actually woke up this morning to a text from a fellow choral director that said, "Call me when you're up," and she was crying. So for some reason, people think I'm like a voice of calm, but I'm not calm at all. But in these guidelines, it pretty much said that we cannot be expected to sing or rehearse until there's a vaccine for coronavirus, or there's 95% effective treatment in place. and that will probably be 1 to 2 years. So that was incredibly sobering. When you're singing, you're breathing the same air. There's a lot of spitting going on for addiction, and we're just in close quarters. And so there's a real fear about putting people at risk. And I think there was like a choir in Washington when all of this was going down. Was it Washington or Oregon? I'm not sure. That decided to go ahead and rehearse. And then there were a ton of cases from that rehearsal. So I think that has really scared people in singing, even though it's not necessarily singing that's so dangerous. I can't imagine that singing is worse than playing football or, things like that. But I think the choral people are just ahead of that and talking about it. They're talking about no public concerts for 1 to 2 years because of this. Because then you have people sitting close to each other and listening to people sing. And in some places you can do things about that. You can say, put a couple seats between you and the person next to you. And we all can see how well that's going and how well Americans are just adapting to that. So they want to
we have to tell them you have to put 2 AR-15s lengthwise in between you and the next group to watch this show.
Right.
maybe they'll obey then. Anyway.
So they're saying that masks are not going to help stop it in a choral rehearsal, and also we can't sing and breathe with masks. Like, it just doesn't work, and I've tried it, and it's hard. But so when they're saying when there is a vaccine or there's rapid testing available, that we should be rapidly testing all singers before they walk into a rehearsal. That's just standard, like, ironclad rules about what happens before you rehearse. But then that also means for an audience, we have to take their temperatures at the door. They have to wear masks when they enter, and they have to stay 6 feet apart. So it just, and they're also talking about getting audience liability insurance for your arts groups. I know people never sued Disney or anything like that, but I mean, that's really scary to think about, that if people get sick because they're at your concert, then you could be liable for that. So I think they're just trying to be as safe as possible, and everything is dependent. I mean, everything around is dependent upon when there's a vaccine or when there's rapid testing available, which we're still waiting on. Right. I spoke with my principal about it yesterday, and he said, nobody knows what's going on. Like, nobody knows what's going to happen. Let's hold it. Cause am I going to have a job? Cause I do a very specific thing, and that's how I make all of my money. I have side hustles where I'm singing, and I'm still working with a church where I'm recording myself for Sunday services that are online. But I mean, I know that this is scary for everyone, but and I know people are dying, and I'm sitting here complaining about not being able to sing, which sounds really ridiculous. But I mean, everything just hangs in the balance, and we're waiting, and I have no idea what I would do otherwise.
Right.
I mean, when you have a master's degree in, choral pedagogy, what the hell are you going to do when you can't? Yeah.
It's hard to direct a choir via Zoom.
No,
There's
it's
only
impossible.
so many things you can do on Zoom. And I never thought about this, Hillary. Well, I think in his post, he said singers are super spreaders, right? So I never thought about it, but like, you're up there directing a choir, you literally have 64 or however many kids or people are in your choir facing you, spitting at you. So like, you as the director, you're uniquely vulnerable to something like this.
Sure.
And how this applies to Disney then is things that people have loved over the years that are family traditions. The candlelight processional, the Voices of Liberty, the Dapper Dans. Like, there's even the live stage shows, Finding Nemo the musical, or Festival of the Lion King, anything on a cruise ship. Like, we're going to have to adjust our expectations that until there's either herd immunity or antibody testing or a vaccine or a combination of those three things, like this is something that people don't even really think about this, right? They're thinking, I want to go back to the parks. Well, when you go back to the parks, it's going to be a different experience. It's pretty scary.
When you're talking about those shows that require microphones, there's no way people can share microphones, or you have to disinfect them entirely. But not only disinfect them, you'd have to let them sit somewhere for 2 weeks between each use.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm sure, honestly, I'm sure that plenty of Disney shows have some pre-recorded stuff that they could lip sync to things, especially in the bigger production shows. I would guess it might be a while before Voices of Liberty or Dapper Dan's do their thing, or they could maybe have the Voices of Liberty in the balcony, or I don't know, but all of that has to be rethought.
In the balcony is the opposite of what you want, though. They're going to be spitting down onto you.
I don't know that there's a safe way to do it.
Hillary, I'm looking at the chat, and a couple people mentioned that they had relatives or friends that sing in Kansas City and in Lawrence. Are we allowed to say where you used to teach and where you teach now? Okay.
I used to teach at Lawrence State High School in Lawrence, Kansas, and I was there for 13 years as the head director and 17 years as just being around and helping. And now I'm at Shawnee Mission North High School in Overland Park, Kansas, and I live in Kansas City, Missouri. So, and I sing with Te Deum.
With what?
Which
You
is a
cut out,
Kansas.
I'm sorry.
I sing with Te Deum, which is a Kansas City choral group.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this has big implications, not just in Disney, but in the arts community. But I thought it was important for us to, my show, we don't talk about serious stuff. I did break the news that Kim Jong-un died a couple weeks ago, which turned out to maybe be true, maybe not be true. Other than that, we stay away from hard-hitting and serious news because I'm not very good at it, as we know. But there's, people are excited. For those that don't know, they did announce this week that Disney is going to be reopening Disney Springs on May 20th. That will be, it's not a full opening. And as far as we know, Disney's not opening any of their own facilities there, but they are allowing their tenants to reopen their stores and bars and restaurants on a limited basis where they, I think, indoor capacity is not more than 25%, where they put tables outside that are 6 feet apart, et cetera, et cetera. People aren't good at this, though. I'm telling you, people are not. I don't want to say I'm a risk taker, but I'm a person who is realistic about the reality that we live in and knows that leaving my house, I accept certain risks. That doesn't mean I want to be reckless. I think we have kind of three groups of people in the country right now, and they have broad spectrums within them, but there's kind of people who are extremely cautious, are not leaving their house, are not going out getting sunshine. They are barricaded inside, so to speak, and will not go out and expose themselves to any risk whatsoever. In the middle, and there are people across the spectrum in there that go from the most extreme on any side of that. In the middle, we have the people who are willing to accept a little bit of risk but be careful. So can go outside, observe the guidelines of wearing a mask, maintaining social distance, be respectful of others' space, yada, yada, yada. And again, there's a spectrum within there of how willing people are to do that. And then there's a group of people who are maybe reckless or don't believe that there's anything dangerous out there or whatever. So there's kind of these three different groups, and they're all moving at their own pace. And it's interesting to see how the rules of society are going to be phased in, because it takes 2 weeks to apparently, or can take, I don't know, it takes a little bit of time to know if what you're doing is having any kind of positive impact. In Florida, we've been fortunate. Number one, people took precautions early. And not the whole state, but in general, I saw social distancing before it was required. I saw Disney, California shut down, I think, before Disney World shut down, but Disney World shut down before the state made them. Some restaurants were shutting down before the state made them. And then the counties were shutting down before the states made them. And so kind of it's been people have been pretty good in Florida. It hasn't been nearly as bad as predicted in Florida, but it's been terrible other places, and everybody's experience varies. We're all experiencing this differently, and it depends on what you do, where you go. But I'm going to tell you this. This leads to this. I went out on Cinco de Mayo carefully. We went out, we met some friends, we wore masks. There was outdoor seating. The tables were spread very far apart. Capacity was limited in the restaurant to 25%. And I'll just say, when more people showed up than needed to be there, I think the restaurant is like, look, we have all these people that haven't been paid in a couple months or whatever. I don't think they were sticking to a strict 25%. And I don't know who, I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know how this is enforced. People were posting on Twitter like, I'm paying $5,000 to come on a Disney vacation. You're not making me wear a mask. I'm not wearing one, or I'll wear one, I'll wear one on my hip. And you're like, well, are the police going to be arresting you? I mean, I don't know how you enforce this. I don't think you want a cast member who's already underpaid to go up and try to enforce this against people who are adamant to not do it. They're going to walk in the gate with a mask and take it off. And anyway, but I don't think you're going to have that option with choral performances. I think they're shut down. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to follow the guidelines from the webinar that Hillary referenced or not, but I think they're shut down.
And I think they're having another one in another month, I think, to see where things are and to give some recommendations. And this has started a lot of talk with various choral directors from across the country who are now forming groups to discuss how to move forward, how to keep our jobs, how to keep teaching what we're teaching. But then I think about, well, if you're sitting in band next to a tuba player, they're spitting all over you too. Or you even made the joke the other day, Eric, of, can you believe we used to blow on a cake like for somebody's birthday and then eat it?
You used to blow all over a cake and then serve it to people as recently as like 2 months ago.
So I think there's a lot to think about, but I think our arts are going to definitely change. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be theatrical productions.
Each singer is going to be behind one of the, you know how like drummers sometimes, like, I don't know, in like a church or something, they have the drummer behind like the glass panels, like each singer behind in like a little glass enclosure. I don't know.
I didn't know that, Eric. When was the last time you went to a church that had a drummer behind a shelf?
I saw one once. That's the only time I've seen it. I saw it. It's not like I go to church a lot, but I know that I went to a church and they had like a glass panel for the drummer, because apparently drummers, apparently drums spread disease. I don't know. So,
haven't heard that one.
No, it's a new one. By the way, you should look it up. No. So I don't know, but I'm worried about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm on the board of directors for a professional theater company here, and this is the first year in 65 years they've had to cancel their summer season. It's like an outdoor theater, but there's a dome over top of it, like a big, almost looks like the Wonders of Life
Hollywood Bowl
building.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, like that. Yeah, kind of like that, but it's open on the sides, and this is the first time in 65 years they've had to cancel, and just all the musicians, all the performers, the crew, everything just canceled, and the arts is decimated across the world, and at a time where I think we really need it. Music and the arts is so important, and
right. This
is hurting thousands and thousands of people. It was devastating to come to that decision, but it was the right decision, because even if you could have like 100 people together, like this theater has 2,000 seats, well, you're going to have, space people out, and it's going to look like it's empty, and the performers aren't even going to want to be together, even,
right.
Like, how do you do any sort of, all shows have hugging, or, I mean, if you're singing together, like you said, you're accidentally, but you spit on each other, right? Because you're enunciating the words. And
I was a bass. We didn't really spit. We were just kind of down here.
Yeah. It just hurts.
It's hard because we're always in a position to be advocates for the arts also. So what worries me, there are lots of organizations that are now asking. I got an email the other day from our art gallery in Kansas City just going, we need your help. I know we can't show you our art. Like, we need donations. So what scares me is that we're going to be asking people for money, but they're not getting the product. Or if at the school level, you know, if we don't have jobs for a year or two, I don't know that the districts will let us come back in a year or two because they have found a way to save money.
You better learn to coach football.
I will tell you this.
They're not getting rid of him.
They work football games, but not choir concerts. You're going to have to drag me off of the campus. You're playing
You know, I thought about
it. There's not going to be any physical, like, it's all in the same vein. But it's a scary time for the arts. And I think a lot of people during this pandemic are turning to the arts for support or for, you know, therapy or whatever. And it's that it might be longer before we have it, and that people will have to actually change what they do. And hopefully that doesn't, hey guys, we don't know. Hopefully this doesn't happen. Somebody could find a vaccine today. Who knows?
Cheerleaders, they can't use the megaphones anymore. They're like spit launching machines. The crowd. And Chris, I was thinking your theater, you're not ever, I don't care even if there's a vaccine, I think they're going to have to permanently ban that kid from the Music Man that sings the Wells Fargo wagon, like the Ron Howard kid. It's going to be special.
Oh no.
He's gone. They're going to have to write Winthrop out of every show.
Totally. They will. Yeah,
Allison.
you know, and like, but
no, go ahead. Sorry,
go ahead.
Sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to interrupt you. No, it's your turn, Chris.
Okay. Just how music is so important, and I mean, you can even bring it back to the parks, right? You think of a piece of music from the parks, even if it's just background music, it just takes you there, and music just and specifically like musicals takes you away from the realities, your problems of life, even if just for a couple hours, right? You're in this other world. You're being invited into this. Yeah. It totally is. And I think that's why people are turning to it. And I think that's why we're seeing more and more of those like virtual, you know, casts get together and sing. Like the Festival of the Lion King cast did that the other day. They put out the finale video. They're all singing from their home. It was really cool. And I think we're going to see more of that. And I think it's needed. But doing that without, like, they're just doing it because they can and because they want to. But it financially it's nothing, right?
Well, I saw a headline yesterday.
Hours and hours of editing, and I don't know how to do that. But that's everyone thinks it's easy. Everyone thinks if the four of us even wanted to sing "Happy Birthday" right now, it would be awful. It doesn't work.
I can carry it. Don't worry about it. I got it. This
to reproduce that, and you need professionals to do it well.
Yeah. I saw a headline yesterday. It might be a sensationalist. I didn't click on it. I think it was on maybe, you know, a mainstream news source. It wasn't like on, you know, some guy's name.com. But it said that some experts estimated that we'll lose 75,000 people to the depression and alcoholism associated with being locked in for coronavirus. And I think that's important to think about when you think about the arts, because the arts are something that gives people something, gives them hope, gives them something to look forward to, gives them something to do, whatever, you know. So the virus in itself is dangerous, but there's other associated risks with being shut in. So, you know, it's.
I think it's fair to say that most musicians are not stable humans to begin with, or artists, or actors, or we need to do what we do. And I'm in a situation. I live in an apartment, and I can't sing here. I get in my car to sing, and it's really hard to not do the thing that brings you joy. And there was a really cool video that came out from the Juilliard School this week. Did anyone see that? Where they did Bolero, and even Juilliard grads are in it, like famous, you know, actors, or like Itzhak Perlman is playing anyway, and they were dancing, and it was really cool and well done. And that kind of made me feel for a second like, because we need to do what we do, that we need to do what brings us, which is also what gives us our meals and pays our rent and things like that. So.
Allison, I didn't mean to leave you out. Like, I'm sure you have a take on this you'd like to discuss. We have a few minutes before we go to break.
Sure. I think I had two questions for Hillary and for Chris regarding this. My first one was, I know that you Hillary were talking a little bit about some of the meetings that you were having about kind of what's going to happen and the future, what you're doing now. So my first question is, are there any positives or sort of glimmers of hope that you got from any of those meetings that you had that you're like, you know what, maybe this? And then my second one is, I guess for both Hillary and Chris, because you were talking about how now people feel that they need music in their lives and the theatrics more than ever, do you think that silver lining, even though it's very, very tough right now, in the future when we can have these things open again, do you think that there's going to be a lot higher demand and more appreciation for the arts, in our lives and in outings and entertainment and in schools perhaps, when things get back to a little bit more of a sense of normal?
I think for meetings that I'm attending, one thing that's great is just interfacing with people around the world facing the same thing, or people, across curriculars too, that I'm talking with college professors as well as band directors, as professional choir directors or professional composers. One thing that's been cool and what will be cool through this whole thing is there will be wonderful art created. Sometimes this can be inspiring and make you want to do something. And I think people have the time and are taking the time to be creative and make something out of it. And I think we will appreciate it more. I don't know that it will be a higher demand when it returns. I think there will just be a greater sense of accomplishment and community when it comes back. I don't think that we'll have sold out shows or anything. What do you think, Chris?
I think it's going to take a little while before things go back to what used to be normal. I think the people that are, and not just speaking for not at all speaking for the company that I'm involved with, but all of them, I think for any company that might be dealing with, they're asking for their tickets to be donated, but they're just asking for refunds right now. I think those people will come back, but it's a matter of they need the money right now, which doesn't really help the arts organizations. I think people will come back to theater, and it'll be tricky at first. Maybe you have like staggered seating or a few empty seats. It won't look exactly like it should, but I think it might make people, sometimes you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And right now everything is gone, right?
Someone should write a song about that.
Yeah, right. But it's true. And I think, reading the comments on the company that I was involved with, people just want to see it next year. They can't wait to see it next year. It was Wizard of Oz, one of the shows that they were doing, and everyone loves that one, right?
Not people from Kansas. We don't like that one.
Oh, yeah,
all that happens when someone finds out you're from Kansas makes a dumb Dorothy joke. Or Toto joke. Oh, you're not in Kansas anymore. I got him, honey.
Touche, my friend. Yes, no kidding. Yeah. No, I get that. I just, it was positive to see the reaction. Like, no one was like, "Are you kidding me? You're not doing this." Everyone was like, "I'm sad, but I understand it," and they were just waiting for it at that point. But I think there will be a time where the arts will have a kind of a resurgence. People are going to want to see, their local friends in it. They're going to want to hear those songs, see the sets, live that story, and be in the magic once again. It's going to take a long time, but I think it will happen.
I agree with Hillary. I think the art created, like, art thrives in like conflict and difficulty and tragedy. Like One Silver Lining, and like some of the best pieces of art in the world have a basis in some sort of conflict, tragedy, terrible moment, something like that. So in that respect, artists, you got a couple months to do something. I wouldn't have a show if it was for this. I probably won't have a show after this, but at least it's been kind of fun to create and do stuff and entertain the 11 people that are watching or whatever. That's great. I don't know.
There are 91 people watching.
Wow, 91. All right, Hillary brings the viewers. 91. We'll get We'll get like in between 1,000 and 2,000 on YouTube by the time it's all said and done, and 3,000 or 4,000 on Facebook. But that's usually probably just people scrolling past and it pops up in their feed. But yeah, we do what we can. We do what we can. We're gonna go to a break in a second. We always take a break at 12:15. Last week we actually took it at 12, probably because I was drowning. I don't know. When we come back, we will have Pete Carney. I think. I haven't heard from him this morning, but he's supposed to be joining us. Eric Wolf will be here. Chris will be stepping out. Before we go to break, though, we always take this time to remind you guys about WIGS. WIGS is the WDW Interglobe Society. That is our Patreon organization that financially supports WDWNT. You can support this organization for as little as $2 a month, and you get all kinds of great content. We're going to be talking about the Disney look a little bit later, and I know that some PDF went out to WIGS members this week talking about what the Disney look is and how to accomplish the Disney look, all this stuff. There are all kinds of high-res scans going out to WIGS members. You get exclusive post-show content, especially on things like Park Center and WDW News Tonight. Not on this show. We just usually go late, so it's free. Anyway, go to patreon.com/WDWNT for more information. We got a super chat donation, $8 from More Beverly, please. Thank you so much for your super chat donation. Give us a thumbs up in the YouTube chat. You can also give a super chat donation on YouTube by clicking on the cash symbol, and I think use Apple Pay or something like that. You can toss us a couple bucks if you like. We appreciate the support. We're gonna go back. Kevin, are we ready to go to commercial?
Yeah.
All right. Well, send us to commercial. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you for joining us, Chris, and we'll be back in a few minutes with everybody else. All right.
From the people who brought you the Disney Parks Home Edition, we now present the 2020 Epcot Flower and Garden Festival, Eric's Apartment Edition. It may be dreary in quarantine for millions of people around the world, but in Eric's apartment, spring is alive. From the comfort of your own home, or from 6 feet or more away if you are deemed an essential employee of the apartment, we will bring you videos of this stuff. And whatever these are, and don't forget these things with the towels. You can even catch a glimpse of our experiments gone wrong. We truly have it all. Plastic plants, dead plants, plants from IKEA, and even plants that have been watered sometimes. And don't forget about our event-exclusive merchandise. Next, spoil yourself before you soil yourself with exclusive food and beverage items from our Bear Cupboard Quarantine selection, like this refreshing vodka with Crystal Light offered at our patio kiosk. Or let your imagination run wild, creating concoctions with Fireball, rum chata, and chocolate liqueur in the office. Our mixologists aren't done blowing your minds yet. Check out our bourbon mixed with ice creations in the master bedroom. And don't forget beer people left behind at our last gathering over at the bookshelf. Outside the guest room, our straight tequila shots will have you wondering if this whole quarantine was just a dream. And of course, be transported far away with wine from all 3 regions of the apartment. Over in the kitchen, our chefs are working on some truly groundbreaking cuisine, like our famous 2-day-old rotel dip. Have we teased your appetite enough? Then try some of our delicious frozen treats, which include Hot Pockets and ice cream from last Christmas. Finally, get ready to rock out at our Garden Rocks concert series, featuring Butters, whose mom is friends with a woman who used to run a live music venue where ELO once played. You may know her from her hits such as Mr. Pooh Sky and Last Train to Barksville. We have all this and more at the 2020 Epcot Flower and Garden Festival, Eric's Apartment Edition, where the magic is on hold until further notice.
From the creators of Clue, Disney Parks Edition comes an all-new version of the board game you love, themed to a park you're trying to continue loving. It's Sorry, the Epcot Edition, and whoa boy, do kids love it.
Wowie, the whole board is themed to my favorite attractions from before I was born. and whatever is left of the park.
How do we play?
It's easy. Just roll the dice, move your piece, and draw one of the event cards.
Spaceship Earth is getting redone.
All right.
With no sponsor, and it will be about storytelling. Sorry.
Wait, so the card says sorry? What does that mean?
It means we're just sorry, okay? We're trying our best here.
Are you really, though? Figment is back, but Dreamfighter is dead. Sorry.
Club Cool is coming back, but you have to wait for 4 years. Sorry.
There's a restaurant in space, but it only serves the Maria and Enzo's menu. Sorry. So, how do you win?
You can't win. There is no winning.
I feel like this is about more than a board game.
Sorry, the Epcot edition. Available at Mouse Gear and all new sterile white gift shops at Disney Parks.
With the success of Pizza Rizzo and the Regal Eagle Smokehouse, we here at Walt Disney Imagineering have learned that our guests love bad counter service food with minimal Muppets theming. So, here comes more Muppet eateries at Disney Parks. At Disney's Hollywood Studios, grab a wrapped sausage at Rolf's Roasters. Rolf has relocated to the edge of the galaxy to pick up piano-playing gigs at Oga's, but the money hasn't been great, so Rolf the dog has started slinging dogs at Blackspire Outpost's hottest new wiener joint. If you're visiting Epcot in 2022, get ready for a lightly re-themed dining experience that somehow took us 2 years to complete. It's Dr. Teeth and the Electric Umbrella! Can you just picture that? Imagine eating a dry flatbread to saying goodbye while you sit there and think about all of your favorite things we've ripped out of this park. Are you excited? Well, we won't take no for an answer. Then, head on over to Disney Springs for a trio of Muppets eateries. Grab some barbecue at the Miss Polite Piggy, some affordable chicken tenders from Chicken Gonzo's, and stop by the West Side for Pepe by Pepe. And no, not Jose Andres.
Come have a sandwich, okay?
And at Disney's Animal Kingdom, our most popular concept is getting a second home. Be sure to visit Pizzafari after we finish converting it into Pizza Rizzo 2.
They're tourists. They don't know good pizza.
The Muppets. We won't do anything new with them, but let's plaster their images in the background of restaurants. Hey guys, we're back. And a quick appearance by none other than the most famous and beloved person on this show, Butters. Butters just wanted to pop in and say hi. She's been spending a lot of time out on the back patio today, getting some fresh air and barking at everything that walks by. So Butters just wants to thank everybody for all the support, and maybe we'll check back with her a little bit later. I'll sit her here, see if she'll stay. I think she'll run off the desk and jump out on the patio. I can hear him. It sounds like we are now joined by none other than Pete Carney. Pete, good morning.
Siva-ko. Good morning, everyone.
Siva-ko. Hillary doesn't know what Siva-ko means because she hasn't ridden that ride yet. And above Hillary, we have Eric Wolf. Oh, welcome.
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Eric? He's smiling.
Yeah. Can't hear you.
Keep smiling. Keep shining.
Hi, Eric. Nice
No.
to see you. I can't hear you. All right. Well, while you sort that out, pop back in when you can. Maybe you're muted in the browser. Maybe Kevin has you muted. I don't know. I don't know this technical stuff. I'm just a caveman. So you guys, Pete and Eric might be curious why Hillary's on here. Hillary was going to join us for a segment talking about choirs, and that was okay. That's the most depressing segment we've ever done on this show, but it was important to talk about.
Yeah.
And then when Eric was unable to join us early, we're like, Hillary, you came in for sound check. Why don't we just keep you here for the show? And she'll just go ahead and still can't hear you, buddy. She's going to go ahead and stick around for a little while. I like the clapping. I saw the clapping. I just can't hear it. So this might be the future of choral performances that we're looking at right now. A couple claps.
Pretty sad.
And a couple mouth movements. What's up, Pete? Tell us something new. I always make Pete hit us with an interesting Disney fact, too. I don't know if it's time for that yet.
Oh, we can't hear him either.
My God, Pete is gone now? Pete, you're muted.
Wait a minute. You can hear me, right?
Oh, there.
Oh, now I hear you. Now you're back. All right, Pete. What's up?
Yeah, what's new and exciting? I mean, hey, Disney Springs opening up as I predicted on Park Center last week. So very excited about that. Yeah, things are I'm encouraged by this. I feel like things might start to get back to normal a little teeny bit, and that's the glimmer of hope that I need. So very excited about that.
That was pretty obviously my joke in the monologue. I'm sure you figured out that was me when Tom said that Disney Springs opens on the 20th and breaking news on the 21st. Party with Pete might be a little touch and go. Pete might go out and hit it hard on the 20th. Who knows?
When Port George is opening.
Flying through Springs and having a good time.
Yeah. So far, we know that Wine Bar George has announced that they'll be opening, and STK will be opening. I haven't heard about like Splitsville or Boathouse or some of these others. Hopefully, they're opening too.
I heard that Anthropology, the store Anthropology, would be opening. And I heard that as of right now, Raglan Road is not opening during that birthday.
You got to bring everyone back from the homeland.
I love Raglan Road. I bought the gift cards that they were selling when they first closed, so that like the money like could go to its employees. So I bought I think 2 gift cards. So I'm ready to go back.
That too. And for those that don't know, they were some of these restaurants, what they were doing, and Jose Andres did this with Jaleo, was you could buy a gift card, and I don't remember the exact amount, right? But let's say you bought a $100 gift card, you get it was worth $125. So they're basically using that $100 for cash flow to keep paying some of their employees and, figure out how to keep their doors open at least.
I think went to Central Kitchen, his charity, and that charity you can apply if you work for him for a grant, but it's like a free loan for pay and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool what he's doing.
And just because we kind of talk about businesses and our sympathy with them, a couple of weeks ago, I know I started a couple of weeks ago with kind of plugging little businesses or people that were doing stuff. I just got in the mail this week, our friend Jason, who owns a comic book store in Lawrence, Kansas, had a bunch of comic books. He didn't have any customers. He's a small business. He's recently a startup, and they don't have like an elaborate e-commerce setup. So basically I said, what can I do to buy stuff from you? I don't buy comic books. I don't read comic books, but I'm interested in them. I read The Watchmen. I thought it was really cool. Right. Oh, I hear you, Eric. They arrived. He sent me, I placed an order through Facebook at Chops Comics. So if you look at Chops Comics on Facebook, you can just send him a message, and he did a great job. He packaged them up nicely. He made some recommendations because I don't know anything about comics. So I got the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Spider-Man Life Story, Darth Vader, perfect, The Boys, and The Dark Knight Returns. So these all came recommended, and he kind of curated a comic book collection for me. So maybe I'll they're so pretty. I hate to almost crack them open and ruin the spine, but I'll check them out. So Chops Comics, our small business focus of the week.
Nice.
We don't have anything to report for the Butters report except that her hair is growing back after she got groomed last week. And maybe I got a video from the patio that I haven't even had a chance to watch, but I sent to Kevin. Maybe he can get it uploaded. I don't know. That's it. So
we need to get
Wolf,
we need to get some like Butters loops. So like, there's got to be a channel where you can just watch 24 hours Butters doing things.
Yeah. So that would be if everything opens back up. There's not going to be a lot of competition for us having a Saturday morning show, including for me. So that's what we talked about. We'll just get, we'll have, whenever Jessica comes up from South Florida, we'll get Gordo. We'll have Butters and Gordo. We'll just turn on like a loop or a video and they can have their own show and we'll go out to the parks or we'll go to the bars or go play golf or do whatever we do on normal weekend. And people can watch Butters and Gordo. Yeah. So, oh, there she is. We have video from the patio.
I think Mandy from the chat wants her clay kitty.
Lauren, look at this.
Was it clay kitty to interact with Butters at some point?
Okay, yeah, we can probably arrange that.
Get all the pets in there.
Butters loves everybody. I found a video last night of her playing with cats. That's what she does. So anyway, she's been hanging out on the patio. That's actually not a live feed. That is not the Butters cam because she is sitting about 2 feet. I'm patting her on the backside. So it is not live. We are cheating with technology. Normally, Hillary, we have a live Butters cam. We'll cut you from time to time. We still are dealing with a union dispute. Butters has some union employees that man the Butters cam that, it's just a dispute and it'll get resolved eventually. Eric Wolf, now that I hear you, it's good to see you, buddy. How you been?
You too. It's been good. I've this past week I got out a little bit, so it's been good. Yeah. That's great to see. Actually, it's funny that you said you got some comics. I went to my my local comic book store and I got some Spider-Man action that I need to read. So yeah,
cool, man. Yeah, these are apparently good. I hope they're good. Yeah, I assume they are. An expert curated the collection for me. I ran these selections by our panel inside our internal chat, and everybody said these sounded like good ones. So here we go. Maybe I'll read comic books. Maybe I'll become a comic books guy. Yeah, if this career doesn't work out, I can be a comic book reader because I sure as hell can't draw, write, ink, paint. I know that comic book stuff. We kind of went over in the first hour. We did a review of the week. We talked a little bit about you, Pete, because you had Chef Art Smith on Party with Pete, which is pretty impressive to get a big celebrity chef like that. And we all look forward to the fried chicken recipe. And was it mac and cheese that he also did?
Yeah. So I haven't made them yet, but I'm excited to try them as well.
Yeah. Hillary, have you heard of Chef Art Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, right? Yeah, so he's cool, and he's really good friends with Pete now. He and Pete hang out all the time. And so then we kind of talked about something. Hillary, just the reason Hillary's on for you two that joined us is she's a choir director, and we talked about the impact of all this stuff on choral singing and all kinds of really depressing stuff that nobody in the audience wants to talk about anymore. We all know that life will change when we get back, and that's just one of the things that's going to change. We are going to have Disney Deathmatch starting in about 25 minutes. But before we go to Disney Deathmatch, I just want to talk about a couple things. Viewers have sent in ideas to talk about on the show. I haven't gotten to all of them, but please keep emailing me, ericm@wdwnt.com. It's like a burner account, and that's not a burner account, but it's not like my primary email, right? So I'll get it, and it's on some like app that I'm not super great at using, and so sometimes it takes me a while to respond. But I do catalog and keep all the ideas that people send for discussions they'd like to see. Some Disney death matches they'd like to see. Although today, like I said, today's death match, I'm just warning you guys, if you have small children, if you are prone to anxiety, these are some pretty brutal and painful Disney death matches that we're going to go through together today. But we have no say in the matter. These are things that have to be cut, and all our job is just to pick who survives. So anyway, before we get to that, though, one of the suggestions that came in was to talk about the Disney look. So we sent out our Wigs members a book this week about the Disney look, and it was
it was from the 80s, and it was very specific things that you do that are part of the Disney look. It was specific enough that everybody knows Walt wasn't a fan of facial hair except on himself, and that, you know, you couldn't have beards and mustaches, and you had to be kind of close trimmed and all that kind of stuff. This book even had stuff like, if you have height and weight standards with your uniform, and if that changes, that could be it's part of the grounds for employment is to maintain these standards. Like, it's pretty, I know, like when I was at Marine Corps, we had height and weight standards. I get it. But, you know, these were called out in the Disney look if you're a Weeks member and you got that pamphlet. But the Disney look has changed over the years. Styles change. What is acceptable and what is not acceptable has changed. And I kind of want to talk about that because the Disney look standard is probably looser than it has ever been. And I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. That's kind of what we can talk about. I'll start off. I went to see, now I'm going to go blanket, at Disney California Adventure. They had the Aladdin stage show. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it was just called Aladdin. Maybe it's called Aladdin and the Super Journey on a Magical. I don't know what they call it.
Spectacular?
Yeah, the musical spectacular. There you go. That's why we
Maybe?
That's why we keep smart people on this show every now and then, because they can Google that. But I know the dancers came out in Aladdin. There's all these beautiful dancers doing a beautiful dance, and I'm like, man, that dancer has like tattoos up and down her side that's exposed. I was like, that's a little surprising from a Disney show. And we were actually guests of the producer of that show in the VIP section. He goes, it's California. If we want dancers, we have to hire what's available. So basically, they had changed the standard on some things for like Latin performances in California. I don't know if that is allowed in Disney. I don't really care. Tattoos are so commonplace now. You know, a meme I saw was like, you know, a full sleeve tattoo used to mean you've been to prison and you're in a motorcycle gang, and now it means that you're a chef who makes a great like balsamic reduction vinaigrette or something like, you know, whatever. You know, they're more normal than they used to be. Balsamic. I'm sorry. But anyway, the Disney look has changed, and I don't know if you guys have noticed if it has impacted your guest experience, what specific things that you've noticed over the years that have changed. So let's start with Eric Wolf, since you just joined us. Why don't you talk about this a little bit?
So honestly, I'm not one to kind of care about those things.
Right.
Like I think you do need to look presentable.
Clean.
And I feel like, and I feel like especially at Disney, that should be just a notch above, you know, just looking presentable for any job that you hold, you know, kind of thing. But I haven't noticed, at least Disney look wise, that going down at the parks or at the resorts or anything like that. And I guess I've never actually.
Would your hair be allowed in the current standards? I'm just curious.
I don't think so. I do not think so, because it is like two-toned, and it's not like my natural hair color, which is.
But what if I told him, "Oh, this is natural"? What are they gonna do?
Yeah, I don't think so.
We can get a DNA test to prove it. Anyway, continue. I interrupted you. It's kind of
no, you're good. But no, like I said, I really haven't noticed, because I feel like even with the different things that Disney has been changing with the Disney look, there is still an above average standard, at least I feel. So it hasn't really affected me or my experience at the parks or resorts.
Yeah. Okay. Pete Carney, I know you probably have opinions on this.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal: is you kind of have to grow with the times. You know, it's funny because like Walt Disney kind of reminds me of like my father's an older guy. Like he's the same way. Like if we were going somewhere nice, like I would see him like shave off all his facial hair, like, you know, wear, you know, a tailored suit and stuff like that. Like, you know, just dressing presentable. And I think in terms of when you are a cast member, I mean, if you really break it down, you're not an employee, you are on stage, especially when you walk from that backstage area to the front of the park. You'll even see signs like "Smile, you're about to go on stage" and whatnot.
Yeah, they have mirrors.
So Yeah, and mirrors, everything else. So like your look is a big part of it, sadly. I mean, people today, I think, take it a little too far. Like you're discriminating, or they're taking away your form of self-expression. But it is a job. You know what you're signing up for. So I have no problem with Disney being strict on their standards. I remember when I got my first tattoo, like I was like anti-tattoo, and it's a long story. But me and my buddies.
I just want to ask, was it Carol Channing?
Yes. But I made sure that it was somewhere I could hide it, because I was like, I remember my dad in the back of my head, like he was very like anti-tattoo, but like I was like, I need this somewhere, not only so I can hide it so my dad doesn't see it, but like in case for any job I ever want in the future, I have to make sure all my tattoos are hidden. And that's something I thought about. I never had any aspirations of working for Disney or anywhere else, but just as a young guy, something I thought about. So I get it with the Disney look. But also, like I said, times are changing. Like, facial hair, like that's right now, I want to say like facial hair has never been more popular on men. So like a lot of people have facial hair.
I never had a beard until like a year and a half ago. And
Same
now
with me.
I'm addicted to not having to shave every day. So.
Yeah, me too. And Lauren likes it, so it's like a bonus. She's like, yeah, keep it. I'm like, yes. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I can see loosening standards a little bit. I know we talked about this in the past on the show, I think, where we said like when it kind of things changed when you could take your uniforms home and your costumes home.
Right.
So I think, that kind of is along the same line of this whole Disney look conversation.
Yeah, I would say just to chime in, I'm still going to go to Allison and Hillary, but in general, the neatness is important to me. So the part of being on stage is important. Someone, and I realized they look, especially when I was younger, very much the same and kind of a similar look, and not shaggy hair and not looking like me right now. But it made you feel like you were transported to a different place. Just that slight difference from society at large. So that slightly, I don't like even using the term elevated, because it implies that it's better or one is worse, but just slightly. What's that?
Polished.
Yeah, slightly more polished, a slightly more polished look than society at large. And it did make you feel like you were transported to some place that's different and special, and not better or worse necessarily, but that there was a continuity to your experience, that everything was very, very, there was a lot of attention to detail and everything. And that went all the way to the cast members and how they looked, and they weren't, wearing 9 piercings in their ear unless they were a very famous Imagineer. And so, yeah, that is part of it. I can see where people can say, hey, it's slipped a little. I don't feel that they are as separated from society at large as they used to be. Frankly, they don't pay these people enough to really to really burn them that hard on it. Anyway, I want to hear what you had to say, Hillary.
Oh, I'm a little old school, and I don't know why. I usually have a lot of purple in my hair, and ever since I joined a professional choral group, I don't do that anymore, and because I don't want to stand out in any way, and I think that I don't want to see Belle with like a neck tattoo that says murder or anything. I mean,
that's the only way I kind of want to see Belle. Like, if I saw Belle with a Tinkerbell tattoo, I would be pissed. But if Belle had a tattoo that said murder, I'd be like, whoa, Belle. And she's like, head's got to roll. Got to protect my beast.
I think
there goes the baker. I'm gonna stab him in his face. Anyway,
I think when you start doing like I have tattoos, but they're covered up. You don't see them every day, and I think that when you see somebody with tattoos or with piercings or with purple hair, you start asking them questions, and you'll be like, "Hey, man, I really like your tattoo," and they're like, "Thanks. When I was in the Navy, I got this," and it kind of draws the attention to them a little bit more than when you're there. It's supposed to be about you. God, I sound like such a Victorian right now. But Also, I used to have a clause in my choral handbook that when you sang at concerts, your hair needed to be a natural color, like some color that grows in nature. And I used to have kids that wigs, or kids that would always have like a blue streak here, but they would dye it like they had red hair. They dye it red for the concert, dye it blue the next day. That adhered to it, because sometimes I just don't think it goes with, if you're wearing a tuxedo, it looks weird that you have, pink hair. And I've chilled out on that because I'm not paying anybody, first of all. And I agree with what you're saying. We don't pay those employees enough to take away all of those rights. But I do kind of think, especially if you are a face character, you need to resemble that character.
Well, they wear wigs anyway. I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay, I did see Jasmine with a teardrop tattoo once. I didn't ask her any questions. But other than that, yeah, I think it was a hidden Mickey. It was a hidden Mickey teardrop there. So.
That's how many Mickeys she's murdered over the years.
When the parks open back up, look for that hidden Mickey, Jasmine with the Mickey teardrop tattoo.
You remember going to Disneyland and seeing this dancer with a tattoo, and I wonder how many people that stands out to them. And other Eric, you may not care to see that, so everyone's different on that. I don't know. I think that's bold of Disney to have requirements like that, but I wonder how many people, like kind of Pete said, or people are a lot more sensitive and they're like, you're stifling my creativity. But these are also things that you can control.
I think part of this is the cast member. They've had to widen their nets a little bit at Disney, because you eventually go through all the potential employee pool, and so you can't. They are very good about training people and having standards, but I don't think you can always maintain the strict. Look, don't judge me. But every Hooters that opens up with like an A squad, right? You go there and they're everything.
Like they're really intelligent, like they did well in high school.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like every Hooters that opens up looks like the calendar for the first 4 months. And then eventually those people get fired because they don't show up to work on time, and they got to hire someone else. And they might not look like that's a bad example. It makes it sound like a sex. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm a bad person, but I'm just saying, you can't just always keep your standards kind of. Props to Disney for trying to maintain their standards. Yeah, it's not easy in the times we live in. Allison, I saved you for last.
Okay. So specifically for Disney, we're all in agreement every single person looks polished, and I agree that looking polished is not just to create this uniform consistency and to kind of separate yourselves and say, this is us. It kind of also, when I see every cast member look super polished, it's, well, all of these people put in an extra bit of effort, a little bit of care,
attention to detail.
Yeah, exactly. There's a little bit more attention to detail. You look.
They may have washed their hands for 20 seconds. You know what I mean?
That's exactly
I'm
it.
serious.
Too.
When you see someone that takes a little bit of that pride, it makes you think okay, they follow the guidelines. They're gonna do. I'm gonna have the experience the way it's meant to be.
This person's not skimping out on possibly other little details that I might care about as well. That if they're putting the time into making sure that their hair is properly brushed and set back, and that their clothing is looks good, and that their fingernails aren't they don't have chipped black and yellow nail polish on there, that they took a little bit of time to make sure that they look and feel ready to go for the day. And me as the customer, I see that, and it makes me go, oh, if you care about your appearance, you probably care a lot about some other things as well. So it's showing that in a small way that you care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and tattoos are probably a different thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't care too much. Like, you know, if your hair is like a bright red, or if it's pink, or if it's got some blue streaks, I don't, you know, that doesn't bother me as long as you're making it nice and neat. Yeah, like as long as you got it groomed, that's me. But I do understand the other point of view with seeing the natural hair, and it transporting you to like a different vibe.
Yeah, Gaston with the rainbow mohawk it was a bad look. LeFou was wearing jean shorts. It was just, you know.
That's why they don't do that anymore.
I would love to see LeFou in jorts. That'd be great.
That was one of my rejected Disney masks. One of my rejected masks at middle from tonight was the LeFou. I think I had. Yeah, we had we are selling. If you go to WDWNT.com, we are selling masks through right now through TeePublic. Right now, they've been like selling out every day. The supply is limited by TeePublic, not by us. But we had a whole bunch. They're really cool. But yeah, that was my submission. I had the LeFou mask. That's the rejected one. You can't buy that one. Maybe you should be able to buy one. But no, this was our segment for rejected Disney mask. And I had the Gondola ad, I think was mine that we had. But yeah, that was you don't know about Gondola, Pete, but they're a law firm.
But I hear they're fantastic. If there's an issue, they're the ones you should call. I think they're making a return this week. This Thursday.
Good. But anyway, we just wanted to talk about that. Viewers had asked. I'd actually had multiple emails of viewers asking about kind of the Disney look and the standards. And I think, hey, neat and clean and elevated is good. Neat and clean and polished is good. I respect someone's right to express their individuality a little bit. And I think that Disney has walked a nice thin line of trying to maintain a standard while allowing the standard to relax a little bit. You know, times change and styles change, and it is what it is. I don't think we're going to get to the point where face characters are, you know, having facial tattoos and all that stuff, but you never know. We're going to get started with Disney Deathmatch in a few minutes, but before that, another topic people talked about. We've talked about if you were quarantined and you're stuck in a park, where would you want to be? Or you're in a resort, you're stuck there by yourself or with you and whoever you're currently locked up with. But what would be the best resort to be stuck in? That's been discussed on Pete's show. Yes?
Is there alcohol?
We'll get there. You're going to get to make your choice of where you are.
Well, I'm making a list.
And checking it twice.
What is the worst resort to be stuck in? You're stuck in a resort for 2-month lockdown. What's the worst one? And you know what? I think this is a funny topic, but I feel like we're all going to be around the same answer. But the worst resort to be stuck in for a lockdown or a quarantine or whatever, you have the place to yourself. Let's assume for the sake of this argument that all the amenities of that resort are available and operating. So yeah, if they have a bar, maybe there's a bartender or there's a robot that's tending bar at that bar for you. The swimming pool is being cleaned by someone. Your room is being cleaned by someone. But
are there other people there, or are you alone at the resort?
You are the only guest, and you're confined to the boundaries of that resort. You can't go out and walk to the Magic Kingdom. You can't, whatever. What's the worst resort to be stuck at? And I'll give you a second. Hillary, I know our family, the way we do Disney, did not involve a lot of staying at Disney resorts. So we've probably stayed at the worst ones. We stayed at a few. Yeah. We were more of a... what? Yeah, Pop Century is a resort.
I think that's
it's kind of a barracks, kind of a resort. Pop Century is Hillary's. Yeah, I get it. But I think you could do worse than Pop Century at resorts that are similar at some of the other values. But Pop Century has a really good swimming pool, right? I think so. Don't they have a good I only stayed there once, so
it's not bad. I mean, you're also attached to Hourglass Lake, so Hourglass Lake is pretty. You can do a little run around there. You get a Skyliner station, so you could dream of leaving and seeing the great wide open.
You can dream of it.
Well, no, the Skyliner station is not at Pop Century. It's at Art of Animation, which is
it's between the two.
It's in between the two, yeah.
Okay,
it's between the two. It's equal distance. It's literally in the middle of Hourglass Lake. Come on.
Yeah. The boundary goes right through. Wait, by the way, those two resorts are both in Osceola County. Just so you know, I don't know about Pop. I know the All-Stars are in Osceola County. They might have totally different standards than Orange County for the lockdown. So maybe I get the weirdest browser notifications in here, and they're not good. Yeah. What's up, Chrome? What are you doing, Chrome?
Chrome?
Yeah, I can see that. Pop Century wouldn't be a great one. Pete, give us some ideas. What do you think?
You don't want to go to.
Yeah, this is a resort you don't want. This is it's not that you don't want to go there. It's just the worst one of the resorts.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I know everyone wants to say the All-Stars because I feel like it's an easy answer, but I'm trying to think outside the box and say, let me give the All-Stars a break. I mean, listen, at the All-Stars, I get my Tables in Wonderland discount at their cafeterias. So, I mean, that's something I got to factor in. And there's a large selection of food. So, I mean, like, and it's at a reasonable price. I don't know. Maybe I would say, I don't know, like, the boardwalk is a place I would want to stay if all the parks are open and people are there. But I think staying at the boardwalk while everything is closed would just upset me. Like seeing Jelly Rolls like shut down, seeing the brewery shut down, seeing ESPN shut down. Like I would have everything, I'd be able to see it, but it'll be closed. So it would, like, I think just make me more upset. I'd be so close to Epcot, but not be able to leave the resort. I'd look at the beach and yacht and think, why couldn't I at least stayed on the other side of this friggin' lagoon?
Hey, no, you're bringing me around to your way of thinking, and we can.
I'm just
the value.
Yeah,
resorts,
I think the boardwalk would be such a tease all the time. Just looking at everything I can't do. At least at an All-Star, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't know what's going on anywhere else. I just have my own little area down there. So to think outside the box, I'm gonna go with the boardwalk, I think, because of the mental anguish it would cause me.
Somebody said, I have to scroll up to see who said it. Somebody said Discovery Island. The Discovery Island was home of the Florida man.
I want to stay at Reflection
they arrested
right now.
somebody for camping at Discovery Island last week. Yeah, Florida man made an appearance. And his response was, I didn't know that was trespassing.
Yeah.
Interesting fellow. I
had to sneak there under cover of darkness and like row a canoe out there, or whatever it is he did. But I had no idea that was.
Like what?
Yeah. I also, just to put a cherry on top, the boardwalk also has the creepiest pool. So if I was going to be quarantined and start losing my mind, and I'd stare at that clown face all the time, who knows how it would come out at the end.
Yep.
So that's my out of the box answer. Try to get creative for you.
All right, Eric Wolf.
Okay, so I'm looking at a list on the Walt Disney World website of the resorts that are available here. And under value, there is the campsites at the Disney Sport Wilderness Resort. And then under moderate, it says the cabins.
Yeah.
Right.
So are they technically
they're not cheap.
Different ones?
Yeah, I don't know. Fort Wilderness. I think if you're staying at Fort Wilderness, it's all Fort Wilderness. So you can choose any level of accommodation in there. I don't think you have to just say the campsite because you have to live in a tent.
It's a moderate, but if you bring your own tent and you literally camp, then it's considered a value.
Yeah, but it's all really one resort, though. And I don't think it would be terrible.
If I had to camp for 8 weeks, I would go with the campsites of Fort Wilderness. But if I had a cabin,
you don't have to camp because you have a cabin. You can stay wherever you want at Fort Wilderness, and they have Pioneer Hall. You could go watch the Hoop-de-Doo review.
I know, Eric, but you're making up your own rules. That's not the way the world works. I can't just
Does this make you feel like
I don't feel like camping?
I'm slowly becoming Tom Corley. No, it's one resort. Those are one resort.
Making up your own stuff.
I said there's no more singing.
Yeah, no more singing.
No.
It's true.
No, but they would be
robots.
robot
bartenders
would be
robot
operating.
performers. Yeah.
If Pioneer Hall is operating, it's too good. If it's not operating,
this is a very controversial pick. Very controversial. Eric Wolf selects Fort Wilderness in the tents.
In the tents.
All right, Allison.
Because that quarantine would be intense.
That's a good one. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Everybody's already said all the ones that I would have said, because like my first initial thought was All-Star Sports.
All-Star Movies is worse, but yeah, All-Star Sports.
Hey,
yeah, I mean, I think I really think that, like, for me, if you were quarantined at a particular resort, it would be kind of rough to be quarantined in one where your room is outside and you have to walk outside to go to the food court and the shopping and everything, because if it starts like raining cats and dogs, or if it's just like brutal outside, then it's like, well, I can't go to any sort of real dining location. What's happening with people?
Cruella is upside down. Oh, it's the All-Star.
This is me driving through the rain to try and get some food.
Your little golf cart.
At Fort Wilderness, my golf cart. Sorry.
And then,
it's
yeah, so
okay.
Continue. So do we have a?
I was thinking about because I was on property. I think Eric, you were also at the Animal Kingdom Lodge during the big hurricane. Or
no,
Irma,
I was at Boardwalk during Hurricane Irma. I was at the Boardwalk. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And like, I could go out of my room and like find all the entertainment, but if we had stayed at Pop Century, like.
Yeah.
Sorry, like that stinks.
You can walk around and look at giant bowling pins, and that's about it.
Yeah.
You got a pool.
I'm not the biggest, like out of the ones, like all the other ones that have already been mentioned, sports and the campsite were kind of like my top. So to kind of change it up a little bit and to name something different, I probably wouldn't be super happy at Caribbean Beach. It's not my favorite moderate resort. I'm not a huge fan of it. Sebastian's Bistro, I've only eaten there once, but I wasn't crazy about it. Like, it was fine, but I didn't like it as much as a lot of other people did. So it's not my favorite dining location. So yeah, I think it might be that.
That was my second choice,
I don't know.
Yeah.
People took some of the ones I wanted. I mean, obviously we're going to pick on the value resorts a little bit. All-Star Movies is terrible. Plus,
All-Star Sports
probably catch bed bugs.
They have
bed bugs there from
the All-Star Movies.
Yeah.
They also have the best, the most underrated grilled chicken on property. It's
the most underrated grilled chicken on Disney. I can't believe the Disney Food Blog hasn't had that article yet.
They should hire me. I really think
Disney Food Blog.
Deep dive.
You sound just like us there. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what the worst one to be at is. If I were footing the bill, if I had to pay for it, it'd be the Grand Floridian, right? It's very expensive.
Or
you gotta look at the Magic
Flow is
Kingdom.
nice, but the Contemporary would suck. Because you'd see the monorail pass through, but you would never be able to get on it.
Yeah, plus
they just pass.
Plus, at night, when you get up and walk around, you could stumble and fall off the balcony to your death. You
can go up to the rooftop, but there's no fireworks to watch. You just watch an empty sky every night.
They got the California Grill. You got good dining. You got Chef Mickey's. You got the Wave. You got the California Grill. I mean, it could be worse.
You think Chef Mickey's?
I don't know.
Food?
I say this is kind of a stretch because it's not technically a Disney resort, but I want to wrap up this segment and say the Swan because it sucks.
Oh wow! Complete curveball.
Yeah, the Swan sucks.
Complete left turn.
Dolphins, all right. Swan sucks. Stayed there once, won't stay there again. I assume they have finished renovating those rooms. So that wraps up that segment. Hillary, by the way, I didn't tell you a thing I do. I touch my face a lot. We talk about this. Pete started this rule. Touch your face, you take a drink. That's just the way it works. I don't know if you're drinking. It's
I get a beer
noon
then?
and can't. Yeah, it's noon. It's noon in Kansas City. Grab a beer. We're going to go to a commercial break. We're going to go to a very quick commercial break.
Kansas City.
And when we come back, we are going to have Disney Deathmatch. I don't know if Tyler Mann will join us. Tyler, if you're watching, hop on in. We'd love to have you. Tyler was going to try to join us. If he does, that makes for a great panel. But at any rate, we'll be back in just a real quick break, and we'll be back for Disney Deathmatch.
Disney Deathmatch!
Ah!
Eric, congratulations on your 8th show. I never thought you'd make it this far. As a matter of fact, I lost a bet with your brother on the over-under. But if you make us feel better, Kay figures after 10 shows, you'll be an international star. Congratulations.
Eric, it's your mom. I just want to tell you how proud I am of you. I was always afraid you were going to be locked up, but now you're just locked in. Congratulations.
Hey, this is Mike. I really want to congratulate Eric on his huge milestone of his 8th show. I get paid for this, Eric?
Hey, Eric, checking in from Tampa, Florida. Wanted to congratulate you on your big milestone for Locked In. This is show number... What number is it? Wait a minute, you serious? Show number 8? Seriously, dude? Call me later.
Hi, Eric. It's your sister Hillary reporting from Kansas City, Missouri, and I just wanted to congratulate you on your 8th show. Wow, I can't believe it's been 8 shows already. Well, 8 is an important number. In Chinese, to pronounce the word 8, it almost sounds like the word prosper. If you turn the number 8 on its side, it's like the infinity symbol, and that's how long I'm gonna love you. Congrats on 8 episodes.
Hey, congratulations, Eric, on your work anniversary date with WDWNT. What?
Anniversary?
Yeah.
It's like his 8th show.
Oh. Well, congrats anyway, I guess.
Wow. When you first were getting this show, I was a little apprehensive, didn't know how you would do. But 8 later, and you are totally, totally killing it. Everyone adores you. You're doing a phenomenal job. Congrats on your 8th show, Butters.
Hi, my name is Brett. I live in New Jersey, and I just wanted to say, okay. Hi, congratulations, Eric Motrin, on your show that has gone on for a whole 8 weeks. 8 weeks? Weeks? Is that right? My haircut is older than 8 weeks. Okay, well, yeah, great. Congratulations.
Hey there, Eric. It's Earl from the Trapped on Vacation podcast. As someone who's been making mediocre theme park content since 2005, let me be the first one, or 5th one, whatever order you're playing me in this thing, to congratulate you on your 8th episode. That is 2 straight months of waking up on a Saturday morning and day drinking. Congrats, man. Keep it up.
Hey, thanks for being such a great test crew. Come back and ride anytime. Bye now.
Hey, Erky, it's me, Andy, your brother in Kansas. Congratulations on getting to your 8th show. I don't know who you had to sleep with to get your own show, but aim higher. Later, dude.
I have no idea what show you're talking about. How did you get into my house?
And we are back. Tyler's here.
Hey.
Hillary has a cat.
It literally just snowed. So Canada is becoming the stereotype that it always has been.
It's ridiculous. It's really great.
Do I want to be there? Hella no.
Hella no. A joke Hillary won't get because she hasn't seen Canada Far and Wide yet. Which cat do we have? Hillary has two cats. They're brothers. They kind of look the same. Is this Gene or Desmond?
This is Desmond.
That's clearly Desmond.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
of course. Sorry. I feel so embarrassed now.
Come on.
Can't keep the identical cats separated. All right. So this has become the powerhouse of this show. This segment is called Disney Deathmatch. The point of Disney Deathmatch is that Bob Chapek has ordered us to cut attractions. There can only be one of the following matchups. The panel will have a discussion. So we'll go around and we'll talk about it first. Then the panel will go around and vote. Each panelist's vote will be worth 2 points for that attraction to survive, and the others to die. And then we will go to the audience, and Eric Wolf will be the chat moderator. Is that right? Do you have the wrench today, Eric? All right.
Yeah,
Eric Wolf will be the moderator. All of the viewers will then be able to vote. You will not be able, don't vote until Eric puts his, you can vote wrench in the chat. And then when we close voting about 45 seconds, a minute later, whatever, then we'll tally the votes and figure out who won. The catch to this is the viewer votes count for 1 point, but a viewer donation counts for however many points that dollar. How you donate $5, you get 5 points for your vote. So you can really flip these votes, especially because there's probably only about 4 of you voting. So
I'm going broke.
Anyway, do we have the intro to Disney Deathmatch? I love it. Do we have that? Do it again. Okay. Once wasn't enough. Yeah, Disney Deathmatch. This is the hard-hitting type of segment that you can only find on Saturday mornings with me. So anyway, Disney Deathmatch. We have some very painful death matches up ahead. But first, on the chopping block today, or into the octagon, or into the whatever kind of metaphor you want to use, some kind of combat-related metaphor, we can go there. Bring them up, Kevin. Let's see the first matchup for today. Ooh, dinner shows. There can only be one. We are going to either cut the Hoop-de-Doo review or the Spirit of Aloha. Now, technically, I think Mickey's Backyard Barbecue is a dinner show, but let's get real. These are the two big ones. We're going to do Hoop-de-Doo review versus Spirit of Aloha, whichever one you want to vote for. I realize not everybody has the finances and deep pockets to have attended both of these shows, so I just ask you to use your imagination of which one might be better if you could afford to go, because they are very expensive. So let's get right into the discussion. I want to start with, can we put the matchup in the center? I know we're making Kevin do too much work today. I'm sorry, Kevin. We can't work in the center because there's 6 of us. So anyway, I'm going to go clockwise around the panel right now. We'll start with Miss Allison. Allison, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
This one is, I'd say this is actually the toughest one out of all of the matches that we're going to be doing today. And the reason why is because
are you implying that we know the matchups ahead of time? Because I'm just as shocked as anyone when these matchups show.
I don't. What did I say? I said nothing. I sincerely don't know. What?
Unbelievable.
I'm not even gonna lie. If we did know, I actually don't know, except this one.
And if you don't know, now you know. Biggie Smalls.
If you don't know, now you know.
I'm just predicting that this is going to be the toughest one of all of them. I don't know ahead of time. I have seen Hoop-de-Doo review, and I have not seen the Aloha show. I have not seen that one. So it's kind of not that fair to to kind of.
Well, you don't have to vote yet. We just want to hear your analysis. We're not taking votes yet.
We analyze and then we go around again and say our vote.
Someone may make a case for one versus the other that could flip your vote too. Keep in mind, we have 6 very intelligent and compelling panelists on here who can get deep into these things and talk about them. Maybe Hillary probably hasn't been to any of those. But anyway, go ahead, Eric. Are we? Oh, look, it's Gaston with a mullet. Hello, Gaston.
Hello.
Not the Disney look. That hair is touching his collar. You are fired.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's a lot of expectorating, and we can't tolerate that in these COVID-19 times. Anyway.
That's true. It's very true.
Oh, boy.
I have not seen the Spirit of Aloha, so it's very tough for me to think one way or the other. I experienced the Hoop-Dee-Doo review once. It does have some sentimental meaning to me because that was my husband and his mom and her friend. We ate there. It was the evening after it was proposed to. We ate at the Hoop-Dee-Doo review. It was for the first time, and they came over to us and they were interacting with us. And I do love a good pun, and there are a lot of bear puns in that show, and they were extremely talented. And I love their dessert, and I like barbecue food. I love the food. It was very fun. I like being served family style. But again, like I said, I have not seen the Spirit of Aloha, so I'm not familiar with that as much.
We have breaking news in the chat. We know that people tune to us exclusively for serious breaking news content. Actually, it happened like a little while ago, but Michael B broke this news, so I'm going to give credit where it's due. Legendary musician and Food Rock's Pineapple Little Richard has passed away at the age of 87.
Oh, no.
So, Little Richard, this one's to you. If you have a drink, get it up. We toast Little Richard from Food Rocks. We miss you, Food Rocks. It is Hillary's favorite attraction. Anyway, here's to you, Little Richard.
Tutti frutti.
Yeah, exactly. So 87
Also,
years old.
Only 87?
Yeah.
Right? He was I believe that's a typo. He was 187.
Come on. That man had a beautiful head of hair. He had a beautiful head of hair, a great smile, all the talent in the world.
As a Canadian, I just want to say Magic School Bus theme song.
Magic School Bus theme song. That's a Canadian thing or a young people thing, maybe. I don't know. Magic School Bus. I was always threatened with having to ride the Magic School Bus, but I did not. All right.
I'm not stopping at that one.
So we still have an opportunity as a panel to kind of change Allison's mind. What do you think? Let's go. We're going around the horn. So we'll go. I'm sorry, I can't use that phrase. That's a show from a network that is owned by Disney. We're not going around the horn. We're just going in a circular motion clockwise. Right. All right. Let's hear it, Eric Wolf.
So I haven't done both of these, but I do know that people love it. People love both of these shows. It's like a staple for a lot of people in their vacations. Like besides we need to ride this ride. It's always like I always hear like the Hoop-Dee-Doo review or the Aloha what's it called? Spirit of Aloha dinner show.
I'm touching my face. Excuse me while I drink.
So
continue.
So I don't know. This one's seems like a difficult one. I do know what both of these shows are about, and one of the shows I lean more towards for myself. What I like comedy wise should tell you everything. So yeah, like this is hard because, like I said, it is a staple, but I think I know which one I will be voting for.
Hillary Morton, let me hear it.
Hi. Here's the deal. I've not been to either one of them. However, I'm familiar with them, and this is what I know. If I want to experience the Spirit of Aloha, there are some islands that I could go to and experience.
Discovery Island.
Discover you can camp out at it's a quote tropical paradise according to Florida Man. Anyway,
but I can't go back to like the late 1800s and experience a dinner show. I think that's
true.
One of a kind. I also know that the most coveted job at Walt Disney World are the servers.
That's true.
At WDW Review.
Yeah, that is true.
There's auditions up right now. I was so close to auditioning for Sixpence because you can audition virtually, like you can record.
Oh, right.
And I wanted to do it so bad.
But truly, like apparently the most coveted job at Disney World is being a server there. Those people, if you look, those servers have been there since '71, and so the serving job. I mean, I will never belittle what somebody does for a living and say it's easy, but you're not taking a lot of these real custom orders and writing down a million things. I mean, the menu is preset. You are dropping buckets of ribs and chicken on people's table
over 500,
and the gratuity is
500 to 1,000 a night.
Yeah, $500 to $1,000 a night. They've been doing it since '71. Someone has to die for you to get a job as a server at Hoop-Dee-Doo.
That's
anyway,
true.
So
there's a waiting list.
I have been to what do they call those? I have been to authentic luau's before, but I know that
we
there's
get it.
something...
You've been to Hawaii and I haven't.
So
I'm so glad both of you are on the opposite ends of the screen.
Either of these shows, I would lean towards something that's one of a kind.
Okay, Tyler Mann.
Okay.
Oh, this is very easy for me because I absolutely hate Wild West and Western things. Except Blazing Saddles. That's one of my favorite movies. No, but I hate Frontierland. I hate its theming. I hate Westerns. I hate Western movies.
And what is the westernmost state? Hawaii. So we know where this is going.
Oh, he's really conflicted now.
On the other hand, I love adventure. I love jungles. I love islands. I love, how do I say this delicately? Men without shirts on. So I'm all on board for a very specific.
Don't do it, Pete. Don't do it, Pete. All right, so hard-hitting news. You heard it here first. Tyler Mann hates Frontierland and loves guys without shirts on. Pete Carney, let's hear your analysis.
I mean, Tyler pretty much said exactly what I was going to say.
Sorry, Pete. I'm so sorry. I didn't actually say anything about the shows. I watched them both on YouTube. I've never actually been to either of them, but I have watched the shows on YouTube. I know that's not a complete take on the experience, but if I'm going to go to a dinner type show, I really don't want to be in a really small room with a bunch of other people going. So I would much rather be at an outdoor show that's relaxing and a little bit more calming and slightly more interesting. That's all.
Question.
Hillary,
can you drink alcohol at both of these shows?
Yeah. Yes. In fact, I'm not positive about Spirit of Aloha, but I know Hoop-Dee-Doo Review includes unlimited beer and wine. Only limited by how fast your server, who's making crazy bank and already has an automatic gratuity. So they're not in the biggest hurry to keep your beer full, but you can get in 3 or 4 beers there if you're good like me. Probably. I don't know.
Okay.
Pete.
That's sangria.
Well.
Oh yeah, sangria. Sorry, I'm sorry.
We're not
Thank you,
voting
Mandy.
yet, so I will say these are all valid points. There was one opinion that I would say was probably very un-American, but it came from a Canadian, so that's okay. So, listen, not only, like, Hillary brought up a good point where, like, you can go to Hawaii, but, some people can't go to Hawaii. But also that fire dancing that's a big part of that show is also done during the Lion King show at Animal Kingdom. It's done on the lawn at the Polynesian, I think once or twice a night. So if I wanted a full experience, I think I know where I'm going to be leaning. And to be fair, I've only attended one of the 2 of these as well. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel I'm conflicted. Some of the fire dancers live in my building. So there's a lot of pressure there. I don't know them. I just know they happen to live.
Alarms are always going off. It's terrible.
Yeah. It's terrible. Smoke alarm all the time. Practicing out on a lawn, I lit my car on fire. No, but
Unfortunate.
But they're both great shows. They're both great shows. I hate to get rid of one of them, but Bob Chapek says we have to. Hoop-de-doo, I will say, like, someone's handing me buckets full of chicken, ribs, cowboy beans, like cornbread, and unlimited like Yingling. Like, it's hard for me to turn that down. I like the show. I like the kind of corny stuff. The Spirit of Aloha is really cool too. Great food there too. It is subject to weather though, so that show gets canceled a lot. Anyway, I'm not trying to sway anyone's vote. I'm just giving you the straight. Oh, look, it's LeFou. Oh wait, it's Pete Carney. Sorry, Pete. So anyway, let's kick off the voting. We're going to vote in reverse order, starting with Pete Carney on this one. Pete, what are your thoughts on this? You get 2 points for your vote. Where are your 2 points going?
Well, listen, it was a spirited effort on one end, but I have to go with Hoop-de-doo review. It's just I tell everybody it's one of my favorite things to do on property. I take people there when they visit. If you time it right, it's just like you can go over to Fort Wilderness while the sun is setting, either coming from the Magic Kingdom or watch the show and then go back to the Magic Kingdom for fireworks and you can catch a sunset. I know that's not part of the show, but I mean, it just everything around Hoop-de-doo. I love the atmosphere, the spirit of like the energy in the room. Like I said, you get unlimited sangria, beer, wine, and soda, so that's always a good time.
Soda. He said soda. Shut up.
Well, yeah, whatever. If you don't drink alcohol,
soda's bad for you.
It is. Drink water. But yeah, I mean, it's dinner and a show. Even at the price point it's at, I feel like this is still a bargain at Walt Disney World because you get a full show, a delicious dinner, and a full experience that you just leave smiling and having a good time. Even I've been there probably 4 or 5 times, and on the worst night, I still had the best time. So it's no contest for me. I'm going Hoop-de-doo.
Hoop-de-doo review for Pete. All right, let's go to Tyler Mann. I think I know what you're voting for.
Yeah, you can just go ahead and mark me down for Spirit of Aloha.
What if just a hypothetical? What if the guys took their shirts off at Hoop-de-doo review?
Oh.
Never mind. We'll get back to you on that.
It would make it harder if you asked me. What if everyone at Spirit of Aloha, male or female, had their shirts off? I would still probably go Hoop-de-doo. That's how good Hoop-de-doo is to me. Like that's
yeah. All right, Hinkle Dink, Hillary Morton, also known as Butterscotch.
I vow that when parks do open safely, I will come to Disney World and go to the Hoop-de-doo review.
Yeah.
It is on my bucket list. I want to go, and after they serve me unlimited or 3 Yinglings, then I promise to go to the Polynesian and grab a tiki torch and do all the fire dancing so we have a little bit of both. But I vote Hoop-de-doo review. I want to check out the review. I'm sure also that I'm going to guess that Spirit of Aloha is also completely appropriated and fake.
No, it's Disney. They don't do that.
Okay. No, never mind. And if there's tattoos on those dancers, I just can't handle it.
Now one right here.
What can I say except you're locked in? All right, Eric Wolf.
I'm doing Hoop-de-doo review. I love a good show. I love a good comedy show. Love a good musical comedy show. Love a good Hoop-de-doo review. So that's my vote.
All right. 2 more points for Hoop-de-doo review. That brings the total score to 6-2. Allie, let's hear it.
Goodness. So
did anybody make a compelling case for you?
Gosh, I don't know.
Tyler.
I actually in some ways, I feel very similar to Tyler because I also have never been a big fan of. I'm never been into westerns or country or anything of that nature, or like if I'm eating like.
Who are you in the Great Movie
like,
Right
really...
episode, by the way?
That wasn't me. That was some bandit.
That was a bandit. I don't know what you're
at some
talking
point.
about. That was a bandit with a similar room to Allison's.
My bad.
True. Yeah, everybody has that in their house. You know, the really loud, like clap your hands, stomp your feet. I'm like, I just want to eat my food. You can kind of get away from that if you're like all the way like in like the back, you know, that kind of stuff. So you can kind of separate yourself a little bit. But it's not a Miss Allison type of venue. However, I have not seen the Spirit of Aloha, so it's really hard for me to judge. I looked at their menu. There's a lot of coconut, and I'm not a huge coconut fan. And Hoop-Dee-Doo has sentimental. I like it for sentimental reasons because of the day that I was proposed to. So I think if it didn't have sentimental value, I would have gotten rid of Hoop-Dee-Doo and kept Spirit of Aloha. But because of sentimental reasons, I have to give my vote to Hoop-Dee-Doo.
Wow, 2 more points for Hoop-Dee-Doo review. I agree with you on the coconut thing, right? They probably got a lot of pineapple too. I don't know. I don't remember. So we go, and that brings it to 8-2 in favor of Hoop-Dee-Doo review. Spirit of Aloha is on a very, very slippery slope here, precarious position for them. And it's about to get worse because I'm going to give my 2 points to the Hoop-Dee-Doo review. I like the singing, I like the dancing, I like laughing. I don't necessarily like clapping along all that time and all that stuff. But you as someone who knows a bandit anyway, Allie, I know that you like that. I like it too. It reminds me of the Great Movie Ride. Stand aside, Ethan. No, you don't. The Searchers. I love the Searchers. So I'm going Hoop-Dee-Doo review. Two more points for Hoop-Dee-Doo review. That brings it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10-2 lead for Hoop-Dee-Doo review. We're going to send it off to voting for the viewers now. So Eric Wolf is going to post in the chat with the wrench, and he'll tell you start voting, and we'll have until he tells you to stop. Go ahead and vote now. Please only vote once in the chat. Hit it, Eric. While we're talking about this, in the chat, I did see people asking, and I've seen this multiple times, how many siblings I have. I have a brother who is older, a sister who is younger, and we have 2 stepbrothers that are older than all of us. They're the achievers. We're the normal ones. They're the achievers. I have a brother that was like an F-18 pilot in the Navy and now flies, Airbuses for an airline, and another brother that's a super achiever. We're the normal ones. So anyway, there's 5 of us, three natural siblings who grew up together. Oh, that's it. Actually, I'm sorry. Our dad got married like a year ago. I got another stepbrother I don't know. So does that count? I don't know. Tom, good. It was good to meet you at the wedding. Keep in touch. No, I'm sorry. That sounded inappropriate. He seems like a great guy. I just don't know. I don't know my new stepbrother very well yet. So maybe once this is all over. Yeah, he was there. He was at the wedding. It's a little bit of a whirlwind for all of us lately in the last couple of years. So anyway. We've been going for a while. How are things looking, Eric? Are we ready? Your vote, to be clear, you're voting for what you want to keep. So if you say, like I see a vote, someone more Beverly Please said, ditch Aloha, that's a vote for Hoop-Dee-Doo, but try to make it simple for Eric to keep score. As we said, if you make a super chat donation, and put in a super chat who you vote for, that donation will count for whatever the dollar amount on your super chat is. And while voting closes for everybody, all the viewers, super chat donations can continue until the end of the show, so you can actually flip a whole result.
Ooh.
Yeah. So in about 5 seconds, we're going to close. We have there's a lot of voting going on here.
Yeah.
Give them about 5 more seconds.
Yeah. Man, I'm hungry.
I think our brother
thinking about all this food.
What's that?
I think Andy's watching.
Our brother's watching. Is he making comments in the chat?
Andy.
I don't think he watches the show. I actually don't think anyone in my family watches the show. All right, voting is over. Yeah, this could be. Everybody could be watching. Mom's watching. Everybody's watching. Hi, family. I love you. They haven't watched before, so this is the because this is a landmark show where we've managed. To
congrats on the 8th show.
We brought it. We rolled that. Yeah, thank you.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I never thought. Oh my god. Okay. All right, guys. So voting is complete. Russ the Robot is doing. I'm sorry. Eric Wolf is an assistant to Russ the Robot, but he has similar computational abilities. He's calculating the votes now.
So adorable.
Eric Wolf is what?
He's adorable.
Oh, yeah, everybody loves him. You should meet his friend Maria.
Agreed.
Yeah, we'll hang out with him.
Will Eric Wolf come with us?
Yeah, we'll go with the whole squad.
Full
the whole squad.
Yeah, bring Tyler. Though.
No, Tyler.
Yeah,
he's Canadian.
Yeah, sorry, I guess.
Just a very Canadian response.
It was, right? I didn't even realize that.
I just saw in the chat someone said. Someone said in week 19 we can have Six Flags news today. That's coming up next. Actually,
someone also said in week 16 you can have a Meet Your Brother episode.
Yeah, well, we can get him on. He's pretty funny. He's pretty funny. Way back, I used to do a podcast with him called The Two Finger Point. Andy's a pretty funny guy. He has his own show. He's had a trivia show that's been going for like over 20 years. That actually he just had it on Zoom, and we had like 50 people on there the other night.
There's a game tonight.
Yeah, is it tonight? Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk.
All right. So Eric Wolf, with the results, what do the viewers say?
So we got Hoop-de-Doo Review has 12 points from the viewers.
12 from the
12
viewers.
points from the viewers.
22.
Okay.
I did get to that part of. I did get that far in math, barely.
And then
what about
Spirit
Aloha?
of Aloha has 7 points, 7 votes from the viewers.
Okay, so right now voting is closed. This looks like a 22-9 blowout that can only be flipped by a super chat. So that's going to be a tough one to overcome. I'm more than happy for someone to donate that much. Anyway, we are. It looks like Hoop-de-Doo is a pretty big victory, but on this show things only get tougher. The matchups only get stronger. They're more painful. Let's move. I want to hear the graphic one more time. I love the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Disney Death. It really gets you in the mood, doesn't it?
love it so
feel
much.
like you're doing something important. So there's a lot of gravity in this. All right. So we're going to go to the next matchup.
Nope, that's the graphic.
Number 2. Epcot Festivals. Festival of the Arts. Flower and Garden.
So I have a question.
We know that there is Festival of the Holidays. We did not include it because our graphic only goes to 3. So we are doing Festival of the Arts, Flower and Garden versus Food and Wine.
Do you want a 4 graphic? I could make you a one that has 4.
Okay, but
Too late now. We've already eliminated it.
You didn't ask me.
It's been eliminated.
Wait, so I have a question. Are we voting for the one we're keeping and the other 2 die? Or are we voting for the one that should die and the other 2 stay?
There can be only one, Pete. There can be only one. You vote for the one you want to keep. So the other 2 just die. You just die. Now, I do want to clarify something because someone asked this question. What happens next week? Are those festivals that we can never use them again? That's not true. We reset these parks every week because we care about you guys, the viewers. We don't want to do permanent psychological damage to you guys by removing your favorite attractions. So we only remove them once. They'll be back. Don't worry. Anyway, let's go to the panel discussion. I'm going to go the opposite direction now. We're going to go counterclockwise. We're going to start with Pete Carney. Festival of the Arts, Flower and Garden Festival, or Food and Wine? Give me your best shot. Someone said farts. Yeah, Festival of the Arts. Farts. I like it.
Farts, yeah, Festival of the Arts. All right, so I like this. Right below, I can see. So this is really tough because I thought we were keeping 2 and eliminating 1. So this is very hard. Hey, all right, so we're not voting, so I'll just give you my thoughts. Festival of the Arts, I think, is the best, upcoming and new festival. It is my favorite. It has a great entertainment. It's just, the park is beautiful. The food is presented gorgeous. I love all the painting, the big paint by number that everyone gets to do together. I love the sidewalk chalk. It's got a lot of my loves, and I'm a theater guy, so like I love seeing the Broadway stars. Where it lacks for me is there's not a lot of food booths. There's not a lot of I think it's like around half the number.
Amount.
There is, but I think it's about half of Food and Wine. I think Food and Wine has the most booths, then Flower and Garden, then Festival of the Arts, and the holiday one are similar. Flower and Garden is also I think the park is at its most beautiful. Right now, like before it closed, like just seeing, and I always say this, why do they not just keep the park this beautiful all the time? I get maybe the topiaries, but like the flower beds around where Future World meets World Showcase, it's just gorgeous. There's a lot of good food.
All the yellow and purple. Did you see the aerial photos? We had an article on WDWNT from I forget who it is on Twitter that does those flyovers. BioReconstruct, and all the purple and I think yellow, all that stuff is gone. Apparently, it's really hard to keep that stuff alive.
I guess so, but it's gorgeous. Also, I think this year I was very impressed. A lot of the food was good in the booths. And then lastly, Food and Wine. Like, this is my baby girl. I think it's got the best entertainment lineup. Like, they kind of put the B squad for Flower Garden. They put like more of the bigger
Flower and Garden. You get like Air Supply, but then you step up like
you get Boys to Men at Food and Wine Festival, who are still selling out Radio City Music Hall in New York. So, I mean, I got to give them the nod for the best entertainment consistently. Crowds are the worst. You also got some sloppy people. The food, I feel, is presented much more hastily. I don't think they really care about presentation as much at Food and Wine. They're kind of just slinging it as fast as they can. I think there's so much, but it's not, if you looked at it individually, it wouldn't be as good. However, I do like a lot of options. So having that many booths and being able to check out what food I like and what drinks work. So this is gonna be really hard for me. I mean, there's things I really like about all three, and there's some strong dislikes for all three as well. So this is gonna be very tough.
All right, I'll go next. The Food and Wine, I used to build my year around Food and Wine. I loved it. I feel, we talked about it earlier. I feel like it jumped the shark. It's gotten too crowded. It's gotten too far away. And really, Epcot in general, one of the criticisms everybody has is it's just turned into a big bar. I like big bars. It's a great bar, but also it does change Epcot a little bit. So Food and Wine, I think, is just too overcrowded. It's gotten too much talk. It draws in maybe the wrong spirit. It has kind of the spirit has been kind of changed to more of just a drunken blackout party. I might be wrong. I don't know. They got some good stuff there. The lines are too long at Food and Wine, especially. Well, I'm usually going on a weekend. So I'm gonna say Festival of the Arts. I really like it. It's really chill, and there's still a good crowd there, but you can kind of move around, and there's all kinds of cool stuff available. But I feel like Pete said, the park is its most beautiful during Flower and Garden. There's more food options than there used to be. There's plenty of options for food and drink. It's really kind of the right mix for me. It hits the right notes, hits the right spot. I'm going to say Flower. Well, I'm not going to vote yet.
Whoa! I like them. Someone take control around here.
All right, Allison, go.
Okay, I feel very similarly to what Pete was saying. With Food and Wine, it's classic. It's kind of the festival that started all the festivals. It does have just so many food booth options, which on one hand feels like wonderful, but on the other hand, it feels almost overwhelming when I look at my little booklet now. When it first started, I felt like, yes, I can accomplish going to each of them and trying a little something over, extended period of time. But now I'm like, I don't know if I have a chance of being able to try everything in here. And I feel it's like so many more food booths and so many more lines. It just gets so crowded. even, but not to say that I don't like Food and Wine Festival. I think it's very, very nice. Flower and Garden, like you were all saying, the most beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love walking around. I like some of the spring merchandise that they have, the florals with the bees and the kind of sundresses that they sell. Very, very pretty. A lot of gardening, like at home gardening things that you can purchase at some of the booths, which is pretty unique. You don't really see Disney selling that very often. Any sort of like Mickey shaped gardening tools or like things you can put, in your yards. You don't see that too much. I really like that. Yeah. And then for Festival of the Arts, one of the greatest benefits is the time of year that it is. If I'm going during the other two festivals and I want to walk around and get the food at the booths, it can get pretty hot depending on when you're going. And if you're waiting in line for a long time for some of those, I might be like, it's way too hot. There's no shade. Let me just duck into someplace else. I'll just grab one and then go. But for Festival of the Arts, I feel like I can walk around to all of the booths at a more leisurely pace because the sun isn't beating down on me because it's in January and February. And there are art pieces that are around for the other two festivals, but for Festival of the Arts, I think they have a much stronger variety of different types of art that is displayed. So you do have some art that, you do have some topiaries and you do have paintings, but you have, there was a booth that was selling wooden rocking figures that was beautiful. Sand art, make your own art that you can take away, scarves, stained glass, all different kinds of stuff that you can make yourself. And I like that it's very a lot of the art's hands-on, and I like that a lot. Yeah. So that's my thoughts on the festival matchup.
All right, Mr. Wolf.
Yeah. So actually, you guys have basically said some really good points, and all the points that I feel for each one. Food and Wine Festival, I enjoy it, but it's getting very crowded, like you guys said. It's getting very crowded. It's getting, I think, Eric, you said there's just the spirit of that festival is getting to a spirit that personally I'm not, I'm not for.
How drunk you are, and we'll have people sign them in each country. We get it. we get it. You have your girlfriend has a cricket machine. We get it. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, but I agree, and honestly, the food options that there are as well. I personally eat before I go to the Food and Wine Festival. As stupid as that sounds, because it has gotten to the point that you're paying just these prices for just little tiny, samplings of things, and I'm not for it.
A shot glass full of beer for $6.
Yeah, it's no. Flower and Garden Festival, just beautiful, just the whole thing. It is such a good time to go to Epcot during Flower and Garden Festival. And like Allison said, the distinctive merch that they have for home decor and garden decor and stuff like that is just really creative and really amazing. The different things that they have available there. But then, what's that called? Festival of the Arts has my heart, for sure. It has the people that come in from Broadway. You get to see them. You get to hear songs. I'm a huge Disney song person. I love listening to different Disney songs. I love listening to different iterations of Disney songs. So I like covers. I like all that, and that just really speaks to me. And like Allison said, the different types of art that's represented, I think also is a huge thing and a huge plus for me, especially for Festival of the Arts. That's what I think.
I like too that you get a lot of opportunities to meet artists. They're there. I mean, they'll sign their pieces. You could buy a piece and they'll sign it right there in front of you. Hillary Morton.
Yeah. Hi. Listen, I'm just gonna shoot it straight. I'm not going to Disney World I'm not going to Disney World to stand in more lines. I'm not going to Disney World to spend more money. I cook every day of my life, and I create art every day of my life. I appreciate that other people enjoy the arts, and I hope that people will enjoy them even more after this is over, when we're kind of deprived of them for a little bit. I don't know anything about gardening, but I feel like a yokel staring at stuff at Disney World, that like creations that people make in the gardens, that I'm like, that is amazing. And it seems to be, of the three, maybe like a little lower profile, maybe, that people aren't just going there to stare at the gardens, but maybe they are. I have never been to Food and Wine Festival, and from the descriptions from my brother, I don't ever want to go. So I just don't think, I'm never like, you know what? I want to stand in a line that's hot with a lot more people who are amateurs at drinking.
Right.
Oh, and
we're Morton, the Morton family, you'll find out, we're professionals. You're talking to a professional. Hillary is a professional. She's not about that amateur
I spent $100 to get into this park today, and I'm going to enjoy myself, and not by standing in line and getting like little appetizers. Anyway, that the Festival of the Arts thing sounds super, super cool. But again, I don't want things to slow me down from my Disney track. Because I only go there once a year.
I don't want to stand in line either. I'm not gonna go to anything that makes me stand in line. So that's why I love Disney World.
Yeah.
There's no line.
Or cost extra money, unless it's cool. Anyway,
Incorrect fact of the week.
All right. All right. Tyler, man.
I want to a lot of people have said that these festivals, especially Food and Wine, are like a scam for the amount of food you get for the amount of money you're paying. But if you're someone not local like me, coming from Canada, every once in a while, they will be like, hey, you're from Canada. We want to give you free dining at any time you book. What? And if you're getting free dining, this is a thing that they do for Canadians to entice you to come and spend
Unlimited
more
pooping.
days there.
We'll give you all the poop.
Free dining is quick service.
Okay.
So you get 2 quick service meals and a snack per day, I believe. And you can always downgrade a quick service into 3 snacks. So that's enough food for you for the day. And especially because those little appetizers, as we're calling them at the festivals, those count as snacks. So basically you can downgrade 1 quick service into 3 snacks, and you're getting 3 sort of servings to create a better meal than you're going to get with a burger and fries. So for me, any of those festivals where you are getting food from a food booth, I think is 1,000% worth it if you have free dining. Because it's just a better meal. For me, I like to go to something like Food and Wine specifically because when I want lunch at World Showcase, it's hot out, but I can walk around and get maybe 4 or 5 different things to eat that are going to add up to one big meal that's probably going to be a lot better than a burger or chicken nuggets.
I didn't know there was like a customized Canadian experience. That's really news.
Oh yeah.
Do they like set it? You like at night you get like a good night call, and it's like, if you'd like to speak to Martin Short, press 1. If you'd like to speak to Mike Myers, press 2. Eugene Levy, 3. That'd be really cool.
Absolutely.
Wayne Gretzky, press 4 and pay $5. Anyway, all right. So we've done our analysis. We're going to go around and vote with the panel now. Let's start with Allison. Allison, what do you think?
I'm voting Festival of the Arts.
Arts, 2 points for Festival of the Arts. Eric Wolf.
Arts gets 2 points.
2 more for Festival of the Arts. Hink.
Flower and Garden.
Flower and Garden, 2 points for Flower and Garden. Tyler.
Food and Wine has drawn me to Epcot multiple times versus the other two. So I'm going to go Food and Wine.
Food and Wine, 2 points. Pete Carney.
Oh, it's really tough, but the most food, the most booze, the best entertainment. I can avoid crowds because I'm a local. I'm going Food and Wine. It is the festival that has defined all festivals.
Wow. We did not plan this, but with my vote for Flower and Garden, this brings it to a 3-way tie. We're at a 3-way tie as we go to the viewers. 4 points to 4 points to 4 points. We have Flower and Garden with 4, Food and Wine with 4, Festival of the Arts, Farts, has 4. So we are going to kick this to the viewers in a second. Do not vote until Eric Wolf says us you're voting for the one you want to keep. Vote once in between the wrenches. Eric Wolf will tell you when to vote. Let him go, Eric.
Let him go.
All right, and in the meantime, Pete Carney, do you have any interesting Disney facts to share today?
Interesting Disney facts. Do you know? Well, I put this in my YouTube video, but the TTC is pretty historic. It's the 4th largest parking lot in the world. It sits at 125 acres. They are expanding it, but right now it can hold 12,000 cars. And being that big at 125 acres, you can literally pick up all of Disneyland and DCA. So basically all of Disneyland on the West Coast, put it in the TTC, and you would still have room for 500 cars. That is how big that parking lot is. So that is your fun fact of the week.
What are the 3 parking lots bigger than Disney?
The biggest one is in Canada, actually. It's a mall. Then I believe it is the Seattle airport and the Detroit airport. I believe, and I'm this is off the top of my head, which is impressive. So I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure those are the 3 that are bigger than Disney.
And I'm not sure if this is accurate, but at one point someone told me, so it's probably accurate. I heard someone say that the parking garage at Universal Orlando is the largest parking garage in the world.
Universal facts don't matter to me.
Yeah, universal facts do not matter to me. But facts are universal.
And you can see Pete and Universal Walt Disney.
Mandy says that Epcot's parking lot is larger than TTC.
That's interesting.
No, get out of here. Look at it. Look, you have to look at an aerial shot.
It might be because they fill Epcot and then they just have the marathon corrals set aside for like half the year. They have room for a whole marathon while they park everybody there.
Parking lot size. Let's see what the internet says.
It could be a difference
7 million
in
square feet.
Yeah, acreage versus capacity too.
Yeah, so that's the other thing too is. All right, so it's 140 football fields. Wow.
I'm going to end TTC, voting. I think people talking about the TTC. So.
Great.
All right. Let's close the voting. No more. There goes the bell. We know that means it's time for for Eric Wolf to do his tabulations to figure out where we stand on this very close and intriguing matchup. It's going to be sad to see 2 of these festivals go, but what are you going to do? You will note that I've gone with the narrative throughout Disney Deathmatch that we are doing these to cut budget, and we're actually cutting so far on this show things that produce revenue. So I don't think we'll ever see them cutting the Spirit of Aloha, the Hoop-Dee-Doo Review, or any of the festivals because those bring a lot of people in and make a lot of money.
All right, I found it. The Epcot parking lot is 141 acres, still smaller than the TTC. It can hold 11,211 vehicles as opposed to the 12,000 of the TTC, and they are in the process of expanding the TTC, so that's going to grow as well.
Oh boy,
Booyah,
I don't want Mandy's one of our favorite family members here.
Mandy's one of my favorite people on the planet, but
I don't want to start a family fight.
I got to bring it. My name, Pete is coming 1-2 check. I don't come wrong. I come correct. You know what I'm saying?
Pete has to come correct. That's how we do.
It's very close.
That's great.
Only 4 acres set them apart. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
All right. So how are we doing? Eric's still adding up. Looks like Hillary might be frozen. Hillary, are you frozen or are you just looking down? Oh, there you are. She's there.
No.
I'm looking at the comments on YouTube. So.
Okay. Following YouTube comments. Okay, cool. I thought maybe Desmond was getting in the way or knocking your iPad off the
I was just doing my Marcel Marceau impression.
There was a question in the chat for Pete.
Got it.
What your favorite White Claw flavor is. I think somebody said black cherry.
We know the
Black
least
cherry's
favorite.
Probably my favorite. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, if I have too many black cherries, like, I have to take a break. I like the new lemon. It's not bad. I like the tangerine. It's not bad. Black cherry is probably my favorite. Yeah, black cherry is probably my favorite.
Just so you guys know, this show runs from 11 to 2. We've now hit the 2 o'clock hour. Everything after this is like a Wigs post show. It's a bonus content that we provide. And if you want more bonus content like this, you can join the Wigs. That's the WDWNT Interglobe Society. Go to patreon.com/WDWNT to become a Wigs member for as little as $2 a month. Also, you can give super chat donations, as you guys know. Click the $sign. You can flip a vote today if you want to. Anyway, Eric, how are we looking?
I'm ready for you.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, so
Flower and Garden first.
Flower and Garden, we have 7 points.
Okay, 7. All right, 7.
I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough.
Food and Wine.
Food and Wine has 6 points.
6 points for Food and Wine. And Farts. What do we got for the Festival of the Arts?
Farts has 10 points.
10 points. The youngster.
Yeah.
Punching above its weight. That means we have 11 points for Flower and Garden, 10 points for Food and Wine, and 14 points for Festival of the Arts. This is intriguing stuff. So unless anybody changes that with a super chat, we have a winner in the Festival of the Arts. I'm going to warn you guys, this next matchup was even painful for me in its infancy. This one is going to might break some hearts. It touches on some themes that we addressed earlier today that involved choral music performance, perhaps. I don't know. Are we ready for for the graphic and then the next fight, Kevin?
Oh boy.
All right. The final Disney death. Oh no! Acapella singing. This is breaking my heart.
Hey, check out that super chat. That's $5 for Food and Wine, baby.
Oh, add 5 for Food and Wine. Pat, $5 for Food and Wine. That brings that to 15. Food and Wine falls into a 1-point lead over Festival of the Arts. So, not to overshadow this very sad matchup we have coming up. We have the Voices of Liberty versus the Dapper Dans, and there can be only one. We're either going to kill off the Voices of Liberty, not literally, or kill off the Dapper Dans, not literally. I know this is a tough matchup. This might trigger some people. I probably should have put up a warning before this one. We're going to assume that choral music is allowed again. Maybe there's a vaccine. We can go places and have that. But yeah, let's get into the discussion. We have the Voices of Liberty versus the Dapper Dans. I want to start the analysis with Hillary. Whoa!
Whoa!
We have a super chat. Beverly, please.
Oh my gosh.
$20 Wow, 20. That brings their total to 31.
To $1 million.
For Flower and Garden. So now we're 31 to 15 to 14. That is Flower and Garden ahead of Food and Wine, which is ahead of the Farts, which was leading after our voting. So, oh my God, thank you so much for your donation. We're going to go to Hillary. I want to start with you, Hillary, because I know that you happen to be friends with some Dapper Dans. Hillary has actually had. And that was I was there when they came. The LA is it called the Gay Men's Choir? Yeah, the Gay Men's Choir, Los Angeles Gay Men's Choir came and performed for Hillary's class.
There's a Gay Men's Choir? How do I not know about this?
Yeah.
Everywhere. There's 200 in the nation.
Let me ask you a question. Did you know the Dapper Dans? How hard is it to find 4 guys that are named Daniel?
Whoa! We have another super chat donation. Festival of the Arts gets $5. Festival of the Arts. We had 5. That brings its total to 19. So we're now 31 to 15 to 19. So it vaults over Food and Wine Festival into second place, but Flower and Garden is still in a commanding lead with 31 points. So we have 31 to 19 to 15. 31, like I said, for Flower and Garden, 19 for the Festival of the Arts, and 15 for Food and Wine. All right, Hillary, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this is important business.
It's okay.
Dun, 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 dun. Who dies?
Okay. You guys, this is tough, but and I hope my Dapper Dans are not listening. And I will say Voices of Liberty is not my style, my preferred style of singing. And I really strongly dislike barbershop.
Hold on a second. We're never going to finish this segment. $20 donation from Megan V.
Wow.
Festival of the Arts.
Yes.
Wow. That's 39 points. Festival of the Arts is up to 39. 31 to Flower and Garden and 15 to Food and Wine. My God, we're never going to get out of here. This is amazing. Thank you, Megan. This is great. This is one of the craziest episodes we've ever had. I bring in Hillary and crazy things happen. We raise money. Hillary just brings in the money, I think.
I just one of my students. Okay, let me say this. I hate, like, when I see 4 dudes come out with like straw hats, like I'm in a pitch pipe, I am walking the other direction. It is not my cup of tea. I very, very much admire that style of singing, and they are so good at what they do, and their lung capacity is enviable, and their tight harmonies and their little choreography they put with it.
Singing about Bill Grogan's goat and Wild Irish Rose and Lida Rose. Yeah. Wow. All these things I don't even know what they are. Anyway.
That's some old-timey stuff, but I will cover that at the Hoop-de-Doo review instead. The Dapper Dans don't bring tears to my eyes. And I am a very, very particular person, and I'm hard to please.
Hold on. We have a $20 super chat donation from Laura Beverly, please, for the Secret Flower Bobsled Training Facility, Flower and Garden. $20. That puts it to $51.
Oh
so
my gosh.
$51 for Flower and Garden, $39 for farts, and $15 for Food and Wine.
Yeah, farts.
This is amazing. This episode is crazy. I'm telling you, it's crazy. No, you never know what's going to happen on Locked In with Eric Morton. We're in the bonus section of the show, by the way. So normally you'd have to be a Wigs member. We give you that content for free. This is like when the cable company gives you Showtime for free for a little while. That's what we do with our show. Anyway, Hillary, you might get to finish.
The Voices of Liberty yank tears out of my damn eyes. And I am a cold-hearted, it's all black inside person. Like, that 4th of July show, I will remember always, even though I was half drunk. But it was so good.
Half drunk, my ass. You were all the way drunk.
No, I was good then. America is the halfway point. But I think there's more diversity usually within that cast, which I appreciate in terms of race and age, even though Dapper Dans are often older sometimes too. There's more people employed.
And religion.
Oh yeah, that's true. And it's the America that Tyler hates. It's what unifies the rest of us.
Tyler hates America. Tyler hates America.
They don't allow barbershop singing in Canada.
So that could be another big factor for Tyler.
Yeah, Canada doesn't have barbershops or liberty.
They just sing about Moosehead.
They only have quartets.
Milk in a bag.
But I think they're both great, and they have really outstanding singers and musicians in both groups. So from somebody who's an expert in the field or whatever, these people are good. And
they're good.
They make a good living, and I would gladly quit the teaching profession to just go sing in either group, but only one of them will have me.
That is true. Well, who knows? Who knows? Wow. That was like the little Kermit the Frog, but that's none of my business.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't like this.
Tyler, I don't like this.
Can I just say, like, Hillary and I have never met or spoken before today. We didn't even get to say hello to each other or introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
And here she is, just dropping shade all over me.
We'll get along if we meet each other, I promise.
Now, where do I stand on this? I have never seen The American Adventure because the last time, well, first of all, we are Canadian, and let me tell you, we are not going into the Hall of Presidents to sit through, look how great our presidents are, or The American Adventure for look how great America is.
Whoa, you use a lot of the
wait.
like electricity.
I'm not.
You guys burned down the White House. You burned down the White House. We get it.
You hate America.
How you feel about it? No.
What?
Didn't the Canadians burn down the White House?
Do I
swear
not
that's
know
a fact.
history?
No, I don't know if that's 100% true.
Did Canadians burn down the White House? Hey, Siri. Yeah, sorry.
Somebody look that up because I'm so bad at history and geography.
About 100 or so years ago. 125.
Everyone left. We've lost a third of the panel. Was it because of me?
You're okay. I got to go to the bathroom too, but
sorry, I'm loving all of these chats. Somebody says I'm the voice of Fix It Felix. That's Jack McBrayer. But the last time we went to try and go watch American Adventure, Voices of Liberty came out and sang, and it was beautiful. And then they said, the show will start in 40 minutes. And we were like, okay, yeah, we're not waiting here that long. I don't know if that's normal, or why we had to wait so long for that show. But I do enjoy Barbershop Quartet, Dapper Dan's. I've never specifically stopped to listen to them on Main Street. I rarely spend that much time on Main Street in general because I'm very much an attraction and food person rather than standing to watch a show or watch a parade. During the War of 1812, a British squadron came up from the Caribbean and burnt Washington in the sea in relation to burning down York, which is Toronto.
There was a Canada connection.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys are
that being said,
really hateful. They also beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. Probably beat the Washington Capitals once. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, I was at Epcot 35, and I did tear up listening to their musical rendition of Epcot, and I still go back and watch that sometimes, and I still tear up just when I hear them sing like that medley is so beautiful, especially how they end it with "We Go On." So I'm going to say Voices of Liberty. Because
we're not voting yet. You don't have to vote yet. We can still change your mind.
Oh, right.
We're not
Sorry, I keep forgetting how the show works.
It looks like Pete went away. Eric, go ahead. Oh, wait, no, Pete's back. I want to have Pete's analysis. And
go back.
Hillary, why don't you maintain the panel while I step away for a moment? I'll be right back.
Okay.
But Pete, go ahead and
yeah, sorry, someone's knocking on my door. And Lauren's not here. So who do I like? All right, so the Dapper Dans are like, to me, Magic Kingdom. I own a Dapper Dan shirt. I love when there's just something about them. They also sing during the flag retreat, which I get very emotional about every time I see the flag retreat. With that being said, and you guys said a lot of the ones I was going to say too, is the Voice of Liberty, a more diverse group. I feel like they sing, they have a larger range of songs as well as a bigger range in general because of the diversity in the group. I don't know. They're just something. There's a feel-good vibe to the Voices of Liberty. Like if you stand underneath that dome, inside of there, and just let the air conditioning hit you, and you just stop from the hustle and bustle of the World Showcase. I get chills. Like it's an emotional. It's really cool. Just experience. I don't know. I really like it. It does something for me. Plus, they sing in the Candlelight Processional. They sing in a bunch of other special events. So yeah, I mean, I feel like you could even have the Voices of Liberty, if we had to get rid of the Dapper Dans, they could split off and go kind of be the new Barbershop Quartet. If you had to get rid of them, who's to say like, hey, you got to do Main Street USA in the morning and Epcot in the afternoon. So I am going with, we're not voting yet, right?
No.
Not yet.
No, but we clearly are.
It's going to be a big mystery on who I'm going with.
All right. Let's hear Eric Wolf.
All right. So, like Pete said, Dapper Dance is very Magic Kingdom, very Main Street for me. I remember, seeing them when I was younger. I just have this memory of the Dapper Dans. Voices of Liberty. This is going to sound very un-American of me. Just the song choices, I don't really I don't really care to hear. I honestly really just don't. It's kind of very just like puts me to sleep kind of thing. But I will say the thing that I do like about them is the fact that they're very diverse. There's both male and female in that group. And
there are tenors, there are altos.
Yeah, it's like I'm all about that. So, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
Oh, let's hear it, Allison.
All right. So I'll talk about the Dapper Dans first. So what Eric was saying, that they're very classically associated with Main Street, and when you think about Main Street, you think Dapper Dans and like performing, and their costumes are iconic, nice, bright, colorful outfits. A couple of downsides to the Dapper Dans. I don't tend to stop and watch the Dapper Dans, although like my uncle used to like stop and watch them. Is they do kind of create a little bit of a bottleneck when they come by, and you kind of have to start to like weave your way around the crowds as it kind of
for social
blocks
distancing,
Main Street.
spitting on people, making bottlenecks. Those Dapper Dans.
So that's a little tough. It's also takes place outside, so I'm a little bit less inclined to stop and watch in the Florida heat with the Dapper Dans.
Fact.
With the Voices of Liberty, you're inside. It's if you want to go inside, you can have this like whole like hour-long experience that also involve the Voices of Liberty, because what you do is you go in there and then you watch them, and I don't know if it was 40 minutes before the show, but it was a chunk of time. It's maybe about 20 minutes before the show that they're like, okay, and the show's going to start in 20 minutes. It gives you an opportunity to visit the little museum that they have in that area, cool. In that waiting area, which I really like. Because that, it kind of makes you go visit it. Right now, they have, I think it was like native peoples from all over the United States, which is kind of neat. And the other thing that I saw with the Voice of Liberty, and they don't do this too often, I think it's relatively new, because one of the voices, like her mother is, I think, a sign language interpreter. So she actually, I believe, help teach the other singers some sign language. And last time I was there, like one of the individuals came out.
Wait a minute!
And was
I'm sorry, Allison.
Oh, what happened?
We have a major donation. Carl, 30 pounds. I don't even know how many dollars. Is that 30 euros? I don't know what that is.
30 pounds. 30 pounds.
Okay,
That's
I told him we would honor the
Kevin, I need
exchange
you to.
rate at 37.
Yeah, tell me how many. That is 37 for Festival of the Arts. My God. What is 39 plus 37? That's where we're already at 39.
Call me crazy, but I think that's a big number.
That is a big number, man. That is, man, people really go crazy for Disney Deathmatch. I tell you. So that brings Festival of the Arts to 76 points.
And this is why Locked In with Eric Morton has 8 shows.
Yeah, Flower and Garden. Yeah, we might get a knife now. Flower and Gardens that fit. So we're 76. Thank you very much, Carl Dixon. We're at 76 points for Festival of the Arts. We're at 51 points for Flower and Garden, and we're at a measly 15 points for Food and Wine. Actually, like, I'm having trouble keeping track of all this. I've run out of this paper has run out. Hopefully, we'll figure out a solution to that. But Allison, I interrupted you, but it was for an important reason. Please continue.
That's a great donation.
Yeah, wow.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So the Voices of Liberty, they do this every once in a while. Is that there's I don't remember what song it was. I recorded them like it was right before the parks closed, and they were there's like one person came out and she was signing as everybody else was singing, and then she stepped back, and then all of a sudden all of the other Voices of Liberty joined in, and they were singing and signing at the same time, which is very, very difficult to do because you're essentially expressing yourself in two different languages at the same time. So that's a challenge. And I was like, you'd have interpreters in the parks. They're on like a schedule, but I don't remember ever seeing the actual performers actually signing themselves. So that felt a little emotional to me. I thought that was really, really beautiful. That was very well done. So those are some of my thoughts on Dapper Dans versus the Voices of Liberty.
Yeah, terrible matchup. I hate to do this to one of these organizations because they're both great. My quick analysis, even Hillary might not even know this. I've been in barbershop quartets. I know people feel very passionately for or against barbershop quartets. It's a great deal of fun. I was in one in high school, like in some competition. I think we won. I don't know. And then when I was in Guantanamo Bay, I actually joined up. There was a barbershop group there. I was like, I'll sing with those guys. And they're like, a Marine? Because they're mostly like Navy guys or like civilian employees or whatever. I was like, yeah. So we did. And we called it the Crabs, the Cuban Revolutionary Association of Barbershop Singers. Anyway, we performed a couple times. It was a lot of fun.
I like that.
It's a good time. Voices of Liberty, though. Whew. And so the Dapper Dans have tradition on their side. I think they've been like a Disney tradition forever. Voices of Liberty have those moments where they can really touch you deeply. And like 4th of July, like when they come out, if you haven't seen the 4th of July show, they'll start and they'll have their regular group of Voices of Liberty out there. I don't know how many people are on shift. Let's say, is there 8 of them, 10 of them? And they're singing. And then a guy comes out and he starts singing Battle Hymn of the Republic, right?
Yeah.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. And he's singing. And then at the end, it kind of modulates and changes key and goes up, and it's powerful and feels, and then you hear, and then it stops and you hear an echo of singing, and you look up and all the other Voices of Liberty walk to the railing above you in the dome, and all of them sing. And greasers do not cry, right? I don't cry.
Describing it.
What's that, Hillary?
I have goosebumps with you just describing it.
Yeah. So I must be really good at this. But they come to the railing, they're singing, and it's just like I said, I don't want to say I cry. Greasers do not cry, man. But I'll say my throat gets full. My throat is to the point where don't ask me to talk because I'm a little choked up. And I think the last time there was a veteran in like a wheelchair. Like,
yes.
Tell it, Hillary. Tell it the way you remember it.
Oh no, I just remember them. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, he was like a guy in a wheelchair, and like to watch him struggle to stand up and applaud. It was really like I don't know, man.
That gets me right now.
The Voices of Liberty can do that. The Dapper Dans are amazing and talented and awesome, and I would never want to get rid of them, but only the Voices of Liberty do that to me. So anyway, let's kick off the voting.
I have to leave in 90 seconds. Let's vote.
Do you?
Okay.
Me too. I have to leave.
Yeah, I gotta
run. We might have a surprise segment, but I'm way over. So thanks for staying, guys. I'm going to vote for the Voices of Liberty. Pete, what do you got?
Voices of Liberty, baby. Let's go.
All right, Tyler.
Voices of Liberty.
America.
Any group that can make a Canadian love America gets my vote. Voices of Liberty.
All right. 2 more. Eric Wolf.
No, Voices of Liberty.
Oh wow! The big surprise. And
Nice
Allison,
Funko
what do you
Pop
got?
set. Voices of Liberty. I wish they had a Funko set too.
Sweeping.
All right, so this is a sweep right now. 12 points for the Voices of Liberty. Eric, go ahead and open up the chat for donations. I know people have to go, but we might. Sometimes we have a surprise bonus game, so I don't know. But look for Eric. Please only vote one. Please only vote one time. And
I might come back in 2
open
minutes.
For a minute.
I gotta go.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pete.
I have to run downstairs for 1 second. But
go run
I might
downstairs
be
and
back.
come
If the
back.
show's still
If
on,
there is
I'll
a-
jump in.
Yeah.
If it's not, then it was a pleasure being here. I have to just go meet someone downstairs really quick. But maybe I'll see you again. If not, it was fun being here. But love you all. See you in a little bit.
So I'm on the 13th floor of the apartment building I live in. And so I have a pretty nice view of outside. It's all white right now.
Oh, wow.
Like you.
What is Canada? Oh, you mean snow?
Yeah. Sometimes when it's foggy, like I also can't see anything. But in this case, there's just like a weird snow blizzard happening right now.
Man, I remember
this
snow.
Is so stupid.
Yeah, I miss snow a little bit. I've been down here a lot.
Me too.
I missed it, but what I don't miss is like after it snowed and like it's warmed back up and it's like turning into mush and there's black and brown and like sloppy crap on it, like mud and dirt and stuff that gets on your car and the snow gets gross.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I don't think that's snow, but all right.
Road slush and gunk. Yeah.
Slush, yes.
I like a little dusting of snow, like a little bit, so you can just kind of like a slight coating, not enough where it's like so frozen that you can't walk anymore. Is that Butters? Hello?
It's Butters. Butters wanted to say goodbye to everyone because she knew the show was wrapping up. We're way over, actually. He wants you to bark, Butters. If I tell you what, if Elite puts on her shoes, Butters will go crazy. Don't put on your shoes.
Do it. Do it.
No. Tyler says do it. Lee says no. You don't understand what this turns into.
For that locked in note, like animation, I said I don't want to have this be static. I want Butters to bark. Can you get audio of Butters barking? And within like a minute, Eric sent me a video of Butters just yapping loudly.
It's perfect.
Anyway, all right, let's close the voting now. We're gonna close the voting. Oh, Eric already stopped.
I got it.
Oh,
and I got.
All right, is the math easier on this one, or how's the math look on this one?
It is. Okay. Dapper Dan has 5 votes.
Okay.
Voices of Liberty has 17.
Oh.
Whew, so 29 points for the Voices of Liberty in a blowout over the Dapper Dans. 29-7 right now. All right. So from time to time, sometimes we just do 3 death matches, but from time to time we might get a bonus one. I don't know if we have anything, or if we have the graphic, or what we have there, Kevin.
I love
yeah. Oh, a life match. We get to bring an attraction back.
Oh.
We get to bring one back. Oh my God. This is at the Magic Kingdom. We can have 2 things that Disneyland kind of has. We can bring back Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea Submarine Voyage Adventure. There's a long name. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea Submarine. Yeah. So, More Beverly, please wants the next death match to be Hillary versus Eric. I think I'm losing a show if that happens. So we can bring either one of these back. There are pros and cons to each of these. Last week we actually did this for the Studios edition, and we ended up bringing back the Backlot Tour instead of the Great Movie Ride or something else that was gone. So I don't know. What are our thoughts? We'll see if Pete comes back.
This is the hardest one.
This is a hard one. This is very difficult.
I have to get going. I'm so sorry.
Okay. It's okay, Allison. We appreciate you coming. I've kept you way past your commitment. You were here for over 3 hours. Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you for joining us, Allison. Everyone say goodbye to Allison.
Thank you for having me. Well, it was very nice to be here, and I will see you all another time. But enjoy.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows it, now we actually have panelist deathmatch, and Allison got voted out. That's really what happened.
Bye,
Allison.
Anything? Any last words? Oh, she's first.
She gone.
I have questions about this. I have questions.
Okay.
Depending on the ride so let's say we save either one of these rides. Yeah. Where do they go? Do they go back into the original locations that they were in? So replacing the stuff that is currently there now?
I'm glad you asked that, because we are in a magical land where actually both those attractions can exist in the same spot they are now, and you can have them both. You just snap your fingers and Pooh is there instead of the Mr. Toad. They're both there. Same thing with, I don't know. I don't know these things. I'm not saying we have to bulldoze Winnie the Pooh's crappy ride if we bring back Mr. Toad, or bulldoze, all the other stuff that's over there by 20th. What's Under the Sea, I guess, is where.
Journey of the Little Mermaid.
So, Journey of the Little Mermaid. So, I don't know.
Whatever. To get rid of those two things anyway. It wouldn't have affected my vote.
Technically, in another Disney death match, we did get rid of Winnie the Pooh, so the space is open.
Back. Yeah, but they're all back. Right. We reset the parks. The parks have been reset since last week.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have Tyler and Eric Wolf been on either of these rides? Because they've been gone for a while.
So
if they've been to Disneyland, they've kind of been on them.
Oh,
they're both at Disneyland in some form.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but I did get on Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage, and I did get on
Mr. Toad.
Mr. Toad. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Anyway, I have not been on them. I was at the parks in 97. Yeah, 98 was Test Track, so 97. So it was, I think it was gone at that point, and 20,000 Leagues, was that gone at that point as well? I probably wouldn't have been
probably.
I have zero memory of either of these rides. There are rides I remember being on.
The one thing I remember is that people threw a protest when they were taking out Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. So you can Google it. There's like people picketing with signs like "Save Mr. Toad" and all that stuff in front of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. They were snuck in giant signs into the park. Yeah.
When the whole Tiki Room Country Bears thing was happening, because that was the only other instance of people just hearing that a ride was going to close, and they loved it so much that they dedicated their time to making sure Disney knew they loved it, and Disney went, okay, well, thank you, but no, they still closed it.
Never happened. Yeah. Yeah, these are two very different attractions. Mr. Toad is very much like a 2D adventure. It's an old school, painted flats, Dayglow paint.
5D.
Yeah, 2.5. That's Hillary. That the 2.5D is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. You can I can't wait for you to see it. You'll hate it. So anyway,
the scam they use.
No, it's not. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's just a polarizing ride because of what it replaced. So, but Toad is very 2D. Old school painted flats, dark ride. You can you're riding a car on a track, and 20,000 Leagues is kind of the opposite. You are immersed in it. You're literally underwater, and there are 3D, there are creatures swimming around or pretending to swim around. Anyway, they're both cool. Anyway, Hillary, let's hear your analysis. We got Tyler. Were you done, Tyler? I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't even go through my analysis.
Yeah, go through it. I'm sorry. Yeah, go through. No, I want Tyler. You go first, Tyler.
Oh, okay. So if these are vague, save a ride, we can bring it back, I'm just gonna assume that they would have fixed these rides a little bit or touched them up in some way or something. Yeah. As much as I like the idea of a ride that takes you to hell, which is amazing, and that should 1,000% be. By the way, that was the joke I wrote for Skip Lewis in the bedtime hotline commercial, but it got switched for something else. With Skip Lewis going, I keep a dream journal and then I turn it into rides. That's why Mr. Toad's ends by going through hell. But they switched it to something else instead. The joke was still good though. It was the Country Possums Jamboree. Anyways,
yeah.
Any ride that ends with hell is amazing. I actually really like the Wind in the Willows musical. It has nothing to do with Disney, but I like that version of Wind in the Willows, which is on Broadway HD. You should go stream it right now. It's amazing. But 20,000 Leagues is a bigger, grander ride, and I would hope that if we're saving it, maybe they would fix it up a bit. Maybe they could take some hints from the Tokyo version of the attraction and make it amazing. So I would love to see that version in the Magic Kingdom. And also, I really hate the transition from Tomorrowland to Fantasyland, and 20,000 was a good transition point.
Yeah,
because it was fantasy and sci-fi in this sort of steampunk style, which I really think they should get rid of the Speedway and put 20,000 Leagues in there, because I hate that transition so much.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, sorry. You should have a podcast where you talk about reskinning rides and retheming them and replacing them.
Right, he's really
yeah.
good
If only
at that.
people listen to it.
Really good.
Eric Wolf.
So yeah, like I stated, I've ridden both of these rides to an extent. 20,000 Leagues is different, and I enjoy both of their ride systems. Like Tyler said, Mr. Toad just going to hell. Love it. Love the whole dark ride thing. But also, like Tyler said, 20,000 Leagues is such a grander ride, and I think that is something that we can have back, we can bring back. But Mr. Toad's, everyone loves Mr. Toad, so why not bring both? This one's hard, but I think I know what I'll vote for. Not totally sure.
All right, Hinkle Dink, Hillary Morton. Let's hear it.
I've been on both of these rides, and they are both incredibly nostalgic, and I thought they were just awesome rides. Mr. Toad's ride, they're just different from everything else. Even if there's other dark rides that were like 2D in the park, the concept of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride was vastly different. I remember 20,000 Leagues, just the idea of it is so dope. Like, let's get in a submarine and go underwater and see what's happening underneath, even if it's kind of lame what was happening underneath. So both rides today, as they were, would not really, they would look janky in the park of today. So I agree with both of them that they need to be gussied up a little bit. I have a little bit of claustrophobia.
Whoa, hold on. We have a super chat donation that is not even a vote. It's just Brian Sutton thanking us for working overtime. Thank you, Brian Sutton.
Yeah, Brian.
Thank you very much. And it's an American money, so I don't have to do math or ask someone to do math. Wow. Thank you guys so much. This is great. Anyway, Hillary.
I was saying I have a little bit of claustrophobia. So if something's going to go wrong at a park, maybe the submarine would go wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I also just love the characters in Wind of the Willows, and that brings back more of them. So if they're in the ride, then maybe the characters are also in the park. And I just think it's totally different from everything else going on. So, but I really do, both of the replacements for both of those rides are not good enough. But there's probably one I like a little bit more than the others, but but this is one.
Okay. And Pete Carney, what do you say? We get to bring back one of these.
Yeah, for me, we're not voting, just talking about him still, right?
Yeah, just talk about it. We're only 40 minutes
when
over.
It comes down to it, I mean, you guys hit all the good points in terms of scale and I think visual appeal. The Nautilus and 20,000 Leagues would draw more people up. I think adds a little more beauty to the park and intrigue about a ride. However, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, I would say, has more nostalgia for people. It's not only just a ride, but it's a character in the park. I mean, Mr. Toad still is over in the Haunted Mansion Cemetery. Like, he was a big deal to the parks and as a character. And you can see that as well because still to this day in the Magic Kingdom, they sell Mr. Toad's merchandise, and they're not selling 20,000 Leagues merchandise. You can buy a Nautilus over at Trader Sam's, but I think that just goes to show how much love Mr. Toad has out there. So it's a good matchup. It's really tough because these are good. This is a good one.
Yeah. I never thought I'd be difficult to bring something back, but I really want both of these. There's a visual appeal to 20,000 Leagues, like as you enter Fantasyland, like Tyler said, is a great transition. It creates a sense of wonder, and this, like, you see like a waterfall with the submarine going behind it into like a cave. You know, it's like it's really cool. And as a kid, I remember thinking like, wow, I want to see what that's all about. At the same time, I'm kind of a big Mr. Toad guy. So and I don't like Winnie the Pooh. So I've held it against Winnie the Pooh for a long time, replacing Mr. Toad. I love Mr. Toad. I don't even really like Wind in the Willows. I just like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. So this is going to be a tough one. Hillary made a good point. If something's going to go wrong, you don't want to be on the submarine. And it is a little claustrophobic, I get. Oh, look, it's Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, he got horrified.
Pete got a haircut.
He's horrified at Eric's answer.
We're all Winnie the Pooh now. We're all just wearing a shirt and no pants around the house, right? Until this thing is over. All right, I'm going to kick off the voting now.
Do it.
And I'm going to start with me. I don't know why I start with me. This is a terrible decision. This is a terrible paradox. I'm going to bring back 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I'm sorry, Mr. Toad. I love you. I wish you were back too. I hope you win, but I'm voting for 20,000 Leagues. Tyler, go ahead.
20,000. I hate rides that have a huge footprint because there's like so much room for smaller, more exciting attractions. Maybe like you could fit 3 of Mr. Toads into the size of 20,000. But 20,000, I think, is just bigger, more exciting attraction. There's just as much fun dark rides out there.
Paul Adler says, "Take me to hell, Frogman." Eric Wolf.
So I'm going with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea as well. My thing with this is I'm one of those people that I don't like copy and paste attractions.
Right. Dark ride, dark ride, dark ride. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't. I don't like the fact that Mr. Toad's would be here and also in California. There's a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea like type ride, but it's not the same one. So it gives you a sense of, like adventure to go over there to Disneyland to go ride Mr. Toad if you'd like to, and then you could come here and you could ride 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So I'm voting for that one.
Yeah, I thought you meant like, hey, there's a dark ride here, there's a dark ride there. Basically, you can just reach
there, dark ride there, dark ride everywhere, dark ride.
No. Yeah, but I get that about Mr. Toad because 20,000 Leagues is its own kind of thing. There's not another submarine ride in any theme park really, except Disney parks that I can think of anyway.
Yeah,
I've been all of them. Hillary Morton.
You guys bring up some really great points, but for pure nostalgia and for something different, I want to go with the Frogman and Ride to Hell.
The Frogman Ride to Hell. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. And Pete Carney. What do you got?
Yeah, this was tough, but I got to go with... I'm going Mr. Toad. Nostalgia factor. It moves more people through the line faster than the other rides, so it'd be eating more people up. And also, too, we're bringing it back. So, who's to say it doesn't have to be exactly the way it was then? I'm sure with today's technology, it would be super cool to see how they would do a 2021 version or 2020 version of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Hell would be really hot. They could make it 4D.
There'd be some scary animatronics. But, I'm going with Mr. Toad. He's a lovable guy. He's a cool little dude.
All right. Well, viewers, here's where we stand. We have 6 points for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. We only have 4 for Mr. Toad. You can obviously change that. 1 point for your vote. Please only vote once. And then ours count for 2 because we're more important, apparently. Tyler, are you talking or are you just...
Pennies a day.
I'm just gesturing to the look below.
Yeah, there we go. So 6-4, your vote counts as 1. Please only vote once. Eric Wolf is opening the voting momentarily. You can also flip this with a dramatic super chat donation if you don't like the outcome. So go ahead and start the voting, Eric.
I did. Sorry, I did it a little early.
I see it. You can
little
vote.
preemie.
Mandy had to leave, but she voted for 20,000 Leagues, so I think
it's Mandy, so we'll give her a vote.
Yeah.
Chalk one up for Mandy there.
All right, time is
so
running
many
out.
people are voting.
This is crazy.
When is Oswald going to get a ride?
Right.
This at the calf store.
They had an opportunity.
When I worked at Disney.
If we just got a ride after 90 years, you're going to have to wait.
That's true.
We are now 46 minutes over.
If we were at Disney right now, and the wait time was exactly the same for 20,000 Leagues and Mr. Toad's. This is what I think too. I like what Pete says. It's efficient and it gets a lot of people through there. And then I can go on Mr. Toad's and go to something else in the time it takes to go on 20,000 Leagues. I don't know. I like them both a lot. I have fond memories of both.
Wow.
Dive.
I got you. Dive. They say something about liquid space, don't they? Voice through liquid.
It's liquid magic.
That's Pete's drinking segment, Hillary. You'll learn about that. Hillary hasn't. I don't think she's really watched our show for any of us. It's good. I like having. I like having outsiders. Yeah.
New blood.
It took me putting my family on the show to get them to watch the show.
Yeah. This is a commitment.
Andy.
I've been on here for 4 hours.
Would an Oswald arrive?
There's a
him beating
pop culture SmackDown game tonight. Our brother Andy hosts a trivia game, and it's online tonight. So is it SmackDown Trivia? Is that where you go on Facebook? SmackDown Trivia. You might be able to play trivia tonight. Might be fun. You can play against some strangers. It's a good time. Oh, boy. All right,
Someone
go to SmackDown Trivia on Facebook.
Ride involve him beating up Woody Woodpecker. My idea for an Oswald ride would just be like Epic Mickey without Mickey. So it would be like a fun dark ride called like Oswald versus the Blot or something. That's what I picture.
That's not terrible.
Be realistic. Just hope for an Oswald meet and greet. That's as good as you're going to get.
Yeah.
I think we need to close the voting. We've been there for a while.
Let's do it.
Stop.
Voting is closed. Eric Wolf will tabulate the results, and then we'll wrap this up. This is our last or what's this thing called?
I'm good.
Disney Death Match.
Oh my gosh! Look,
last
it's one of
Disney
the
Death Match of
mermaids
that.
from 20,000
Oh, look at Pete. Pete, did you get like collagen injection? Oh,
I've just been doing everything the Kardashians tell me on their Instagram, and I've been following it exactly to a T.
It's a good way to live your life. It's a good way to live your life. It's worked out for literally 100% of them. They came from nothing. Scruffy bunch of bootstrapping Kardashians. Oh, I like the hat.
Thank you. Look, I also have a bow tie. Yes.
Hey, it looks like a dapper Dan. Yes, Hillary.
Eric Wolf has an announcement to make.
Okay.
I got him. So we have Mr. Toad with 12 votes.
Whoa.
Wow.
And 20,000 Leagues has 11.
Ooh, a 1 point victory. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was 17 points, and Mr. Toad was 16.
Oh, come on.
Come on. Yeah. So we are, oh, no, wait. Oh, submarine. Kind of ironic, the submarine siren. $20 from Pat to bring back Mr. Toad. So that is 36 to 17 for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. 36 to 17,
Paul
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
We didn't even mention Toad's was 2 rides because it had 2 different tracks with 2 different sort of paths through the ride.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Very innovative at the time. Very innovative. Good point. I don't know if that would have changed votes or not. Yeah. Wow. So that is a 36 to 17 score for Mr. Toad over 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I had a lot of fun with Disney Deathmatch. We are 50 minutes over. If you ever want to get bonus content after the show is over, become a Wigs member. We have post shows all the time. So you can go become a Wigs member at patreon.com/WDWNT. We thank you all for all the super chat donations today. This has got to be a record for this show. My gosh. I didn't I didn't expect this
Good
at all. This
matchup.
is great, guys. This has been a fun show. The time flies when we're having fun with you guys. So the viewers really make this show fun. Pete, Hillary, Eric, and Tyler, you guys made it fun. Allison and Chris, and of course Kevin on the ones and twos, doing all the work on the back end. We appreciate that. So just a quick recap. This is we are bringing back Mr. Toad instead of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. We are keeping the voices of liberty and getting rid of the poor Dapper Dans. That was a big one. Then festivals, we are keeping the Festival of the Arts. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm moving way too fast. I'm sorry, Kevin. Festival of the Arts defeated Food and Wine and Flower and Garden Festival. So we're keeping that festival. And the Hoop-de-Doo Review versus Spirit of Aloha matchup. That was Hoop-de-Doo Review. And that makes a wrap for Disney Deathmatch this week. We want to thank you guys for joining us on a very special 8th anniversary episode. Who would have ever thought we could have had the sort of stick-to-itiveness that's required to produce 8 episodes, but here we are. And it's all because of you guys. We thank you very much. We don't know how much longer the show is going to be going on. Parks may be opening soon. Disney Springs is opening soon. But we thank you for spending a little bit of your time with us today and for going to the website, WDWNT.com, for all your news needs. We are the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news. Thanks again for stopping by. This has been Locked In with Eric Morton and friends. Goodbye.
Disney Deathmatch!
Yeah!